Pyo Na Rai, 31, is a contract weather reporter at SBC Broadcasting Station. Unlike other reporters at the station, her income is modest, and she supports her high school-aged brother, Pyo Ka-yeol. Despite her relatively unimportant position within the company, Pyo Na Rai has never considered giving up. Undeterred by hardship, she diligently prepares each day and approaches her work seriously. She strives to create her own unique style and ideal in her weather reports, aspiring to one day anchor the 9 o'clock news. She secretly admires the beautiful news anchor, Hong Hai-won, often observing her colleagues leaving work. She quietly sits behind Hong Hai-won's desk, inadvertently overhearing her superior, Director Choi Dong-gi, conversing with the station director in the broadcast control room. Due to an upcoming employee recruitment campaign, the station needs to film a promotional video featuring SBC reporter Lee Hwa Shin in Thailand. The station director deems this too expensive. Overhearing this, Pyo Na Rai volunteers, claiming she can handle multiple tasks, and thus secures the opportunity to travel to Thailand with Director Choi. Meanwhile, at school, Pyo Ka-yeol is stopped by an academy teacher as he's leaving. The teacher sarcastically remarks that students attending classes without paying tuition look like petty thieves. Pyo Ka-yeol, a sensitive teenager, resents the implication and offers to let the teacher search him. Pyo Na Rai arrives at the school just in time. She immediately pays her brother's tuition, and the siblings happily walk home together, their bond evident in their shared laughter. Faced with life's difficulties, the two siblings have grown accustomed to supporting and comforting each other. On the plane to Thailand, Pyo Na Rai meets Ko Young-won, who is rushing to visit his best friend, Lee Hwa Shin. Their families have been close for many years. Ko Young-won is a Keeball wealthy heir, managing dozens of companies under renowned clothing brands. He's also a talented and humble fashion designer. Recognizing Pyo Na Rai sitting next to him as the SBC weather reporter, he surprises and pleases her. After landing, Pyo Na Rai, Choi Dong-gi, and Lee Hwa Shin arrive at the filming location. Choi Dong-gi mentions Pyo Na Rai's past crush on Lee Hwa Shin 3 years ago, much to her delight. However, Lee Hwa Shin finds this inconvenient. At 36, he's intelligent, resourceful, possesses exceptional diplomatic skills and oratory abilities. A highly skilled and ethical journalist, he doesn't focus on personal relationships. Pyo Na Rai affirms her past feelings, but reveals that she still admires and is fond of Lee Hwa Shin. Working as a makeup artist, costume designer, and assistant director, Pyo Na Rai helps Lee Hwa Shin prepare for the shoot. She insists he wear a bright, flashy blue outfit. During a tussle, her nail accidentally scratches Lee Hwa Shin's chest. Panicked, she checks the wound, inadvertently touching his chest several times, causing him discomfort. Lee Hwa Shin, considering his chest a symbol of masculine sensuality, objects to the outfit. He eventually relents to Pyo Na Rai's request, but not without grumbling and ordering her to wait outside. Learning he'll have to dance during the filming, Lee Hwa Shin explodes with anger, berating Choi Dong-gi. Upon seeing his friend Ko Young-won arrive, he leaves the scene, claiming he needs to meet his friend before resuming filming. Choi Dong-gi knows getting Lee Hwa Shin to accept this assignment was already a significant challenge. As Lee Hwa Shin and Ko Young-won prepare to leave, Pyo Na Rai returns after buying medicine for Lee Hwa Shin. She quickly approaches to give him his medication, only to discover that the man standing beside him is the friendly listener she met on the plane. Lee Hwa Shin is displeased seeing Pyo Na Rai's undivided attention on his friend and hastily drags Ko Young-won away. After completing the shoot, Pyo Na Rai returns to Korea. She lives with her brother and others in an apartment building. The first floor houses Lepa's restaurant, owned by Uncle Kim Rak. The second and third floors house various residents, including Bi Bal-gang, her father, Lee Hwa Shin, her brother, and Di-gu, a classmate of Bi Bal-gang and Pyo Ka-yeol. One morning, Pyo Na Rai, while brushing her teeth, looks at Pyo Ka-yeol's chest and tells him she wants to touch it. Pyo Ka-yeol, speechless, immediately leaves the house. Lee Hwa Shin, after completing his assignment in Thailand, returns to Korea. While crossing the street, he unexpectedly encounters Pyo Na Rai, who once again inadvertently touches his chest from behind. This time, Lee Hwa Shin's patience snaps. He asks her, "Why do you keep touching me?" He secretly believes she still harbors feelings for him. At SBC Broadcasting Station, the 12 o'clock news anchor, Kai Sung-suk, and the music show host, Bang Ya-young, meet in the elevator. Wearing identical outfits, these longtime rivals refuse to yield, exchanging sarcastic remarks. In reality, they not only hold equally important positions at SBC, but also have an irreconcilable personal conflict. Kai Sung-suk is the ex-wife of Lee Hwa-shin's older brother, Lee Jong-shin. 6 months after their divorce, Lee Jong-shin married Bang Ja-young. Uncle Kim Rak drives Pyo Ka-yeol and B-ball gang to a competition. B-ball gang's father, drunk while climbing the stairs to fix a light, falls. Kim Rak goes to the school to find B-ball gang, and the teacher calls B-ball gang out of the exam. Lee Hwa-shin and Pyo Na-rai arrive at the broadcasting station together. Once again, Pyo Na-rai inadvertently touches Lee Hwa-shin's chest from behind. Pyo Na-rai tells Lee Hwa-shin that his chest resembles her mother's. She suspects he might have breast cancer, as both her grandmother and mother suffered from the disease. Consequently, she undergoes checkups every 6 months. Lee Hwa-shin scoffs, finding it absurd that a man could develop breast cancer. In the elevator, Bang Ya-young and Kai Sung-suk continue their argument, escalating it from the elevator to the station director's office. There, they watch SBC's recruitment video together. Kai Sung-suk is visibly upset seeing Lee Hwa-shin featured prominently at the beginning of the video, while her nemesis, Bang Ja-young, appears at the end. This deeply agitates her. Kai Sung-suk has always held animosity towards Lee Hwa-shin. During her time with his brother, Lee Hwa-shin criticized her strong personality, suggesting it contributed to her brother's overthinking. Unhappy, Kai Sung-suk demands the director reshoot the video to feature her first. Bang Ja-young immediately counters, and the two women, unable to contain themselves, exchange a blow. B-ball gang rushes to the hospital. She learns her father's condition is critical, his life hanging by a thread. Anxiously waiting in the hospital lobby, she accidentally sees the SBC recruitment video. In it, she sees her uncle, her biological mother Kai Sung-suk, whom she only addresses as aunt, and her stepmother who always treated her like her own daughter, all happily dancing. Enraged, B-ball gang grabs her phone and throws it at the television screen, blaming these people for her father's constant drinking. Luckily, her classmates Daegu and Pyo Ka-yeol arrive in time to stop her. Meanwhile, Pyo Na-rai persuades Lee Hwa-shin to get a checkup at the hospital. Perhaps because both her grandmother and mother died of breast cancer, she doesn't want the same tragedy to befall Lee Hwa-shin. Lee Hwa-shin, weary and burdened, tells her he's exhausted. Pyo Na-rai leaves, disappointed. Choi Dong-gi asks Pyo Na-rai to buy 7 cups of coffee for a meeting. Arriving at the lobby on the first floor, Pyo Na-rai is unhappy to see the rain pouring down. She feels guilty because she forgot to remind people to bring umbrellas in her weather report. Suddenly, she receives a complaint call accusing her of inaccurately reporting no rain for the day. Pyo Na-rai cheerfully apologizes, but Lee Hwa-shin, standing nearby, overhears and snatches the phone, scolding the caller for making a fuss. He explains that weather experts base their predictions on cloud formations, and as a weather reporter, Pyo Na-rai cannot guarantee absolute accuracy. The caller is actually Ko Young-won, who instructed his assistant to make the call. He remembers Pyo Na-rai previously asked him to make a complaint call to increase viewer interaction. After returning from China, Lee Hwa-shin takes his suitcase to Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young's offices to question them about his niece and the child's father. He also asks for his brother's address. Both defiantly claim ignorance of their whereabouts. As Lee Hwa-shin prepares to leave the station, they both chase after him, one after the other, demanding he inform them if he finds out. Lee Hwa-shin consistently refuses their requests. Bang Ja-young tells Lee Hwa-shin that he is the reason B-ball gang and her father are living on the streets. This statement plunges Lee Hwa-shin into a vortex of memories. Years ago, his brother ran a company with 500 chain stores. However, several broadcasting stations exposed that his brother's beef restaurant used regular pork belly, falsely advertising it as high-grade beef tenderloin. As a journalist, Lee Hwa-shin reported on the incident, leading to his brother's bankruptcy and financial ruin. From a journalistic perspective, Lee Hwa-shin did nothing wrong. Even if he hadn't reported it, other stations would have. Moreover, as his brother, he felt his brother's actions were morally reprehensible. However, his mother, Bang Ja-young, Kai Sung-suk, his brother, and his niece B-ball gang refused to forgive him. His brother even went into hiding with his daughter to avoid Lee Hwa-shin. Kai Yol and B-ball gang hide in a classroom, skipping gym class because B-ball gang is worried about her unconscious father. She refuses to eat or drink anything. Daegu buys fried chicken and beer for her. Pyo Kai-yol believes girls shouldn't drink beer and plans to finish it all himself. B-ball gang tries to take the beer from him, and their teacher catches them. Lee Hwa-shin is driving but gets distracted and is involved in a minor car accident. At the hospital, an orthopedic surgeon recommends a breast exam, suspecting breast cancer. Lee Hwa-shin goes to the breast clinic. A drunken Pyo Na-rai calls Ko Young-won, promising to compensate for her behavior by giving him a personal weather forecast every morning for a week. An ambitious junior reporter coveting Pyo Na-rai's weather reporting position deliberately invites her out for grilled meat before the 7 p.m. broadcast. She gets Pyo Na-rai drunk and even deliberately stains her clothes. As the live 7 p.m. weather report is about to begin, Pyo Na-rai has to rush up the stairs to the studio. She asks her junior to find replacement clothes from the costume department. While climbing the stairs, she receives a call from Lee Hwa-shin. She explains she's rushing to make the live broadcast. Lee Hwa-shin, his call cut short, manages to say, "I really miss you." He's at the hospital, knowing he might have breast cancer, feeling extremely desperate. The junior reporter doesn't go to the prop department and instead tells Pyo Na-rai that there are no replacement clothes. Pyo Na-rai has to swap clothes with her, ending up in a revealing crop top and short shorts, rushing to the live stream room. There, she's scolded by Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young for unprofessionalism and smelling strongly of alcohol. Despite the conflict between Pyo Na-rai and director Choi Dong-kai, the weather report is completed in her unique style. However, immediately after the broadcast, Director Oh fires Pyo Na-rai for unprofessional conduct. Pyo Na-rai is upset but powerless. She sits listlessly in her office. Lee Hwa-shin arrives and criticizes her for drinking before the live broadcast. The usually stoic Lee Hwa-shin admits for the first time that he was extremely worried about her during the broadcast. He questions her, "How could you make my heart so anxious?" A despondent Pyo Na-rai declares that she no longer likes him and her heart isn't stirred as before. She leaves the office, her eyes red-rimmed. In the elevator, Pyo Na-rai encounters Young-won, who's at the broadcasting station to deliver clothes as a designer for a top Korean fashion company. Young-won usually doesn't deliver clothes personally, but he changed his routine to meet Pyo Na-rai. Seeing Pyo Na-rai's distraught state, Young-won wants to follow her but is stopped by another announcer for greetings. Pyo Na-rai later goes to a roadside bar to drink. Ko Young-won follows. In her drunken state, she expresses her desire for Young-won's support. Young-won is unaware of Pyo Na-rai's dismissal and is surprised by her sudden request. Pyo Na-rai says she could be his friend or his lover, but then awkwardly adds that he doesn't seem to lack friends or lovers. Young-won replies, "I do." Pyo Na-rai frustratedly sighs that she is the one lacking friends and lovers. She assumes Young-won is just passing by and tells him to go about his business. Before leaving, Young-won encourages her, saying she did a great job today. Lee Hwa-shin went to the television station to retrieve the ratings chart for various programs throughout the day. The chart clearly showed that Pyo Na-rai's 7:47 p.m. weather forecast had achieved a 40% rating, a full 10% higher than any other time slot. He took this chart to discuss with station manager Oh, Kai Sung-suk, and Bang Ja-young. The three of them were stunned by the figures. After an argument with the station manager, he drove off. On the way, he saw Pyo Na-rai, drunk and squatting by the roadside near the station, hailing a taxi. He rushed over, pulled up beside her, and asked her to get in his car. Once inside, she gave the taxi driver her address. On the way, Pyo Na-rai and Hwa-shin chatted. Suddenly, Pyo Na-rai called him Reporter Hwa-shin, as usual. He looked back and saw her smiling. Realizing she wasn't truly drunk, as they neared her home, Hwa-shin asked her to get out of the car and walked with her, helping her sober up. Noticing she was wearing a crop top and short shorts and seemed cold, he grumblingly but kindly put his jacket around her. He walked Na-rai to her door. At that moment, Kim Rak entered his house, carrying the exhausted B-ball gang after a night at her father's bedside. B Bao Gang, sleepy, woke up instantly upon seeing HWA Shin, whom she resented. Fueled by alcohol, she plotted her revenge. B Bao Gang refused to eat or drink anything all day, leaving Digu and Pyo Kayol exasperated. Pyo Kayol admitted he was going crazy. Finally, B Bao Gang agreed to eat if they did something for her. Pyo Kayol and Digu had to impersonate bank employees and call Kai Sung-suk's mother, Bang Ja-young's adoptive mother, and finally, Lee Hwa Shin. Bang Ja-young and Kai Sung-suk, experienced and wise, weren't fooled. However, Lee Hwa Shin, recently returned from abroad, fell for the scam. He provided his ID and bank card information as requested over the phone. As a result, B Bao Gang stole 10 million won from his account. Dr. Kang informed Hwa Shin that he needed to come to the hospital. There, he received the devastating news that he had breast cancer. However, the doctor assured him that timely surgery and chemotherapy would resolve the issue. Despite this, Hwa Shin was despondent. He couldn't believe a grown man would have this disease. During his examination, he was stared at by other patients. He worried about his future at the station and his chances of keeping his 9 o'clock news anchor position. Pyo Na-rai's examination revealed a lump in her left breast. While not cancerous, it needed to be removed as a precaution. She was admitted to the hospital. Dr. Kang mentioned that she and Hwa Shin worked at the same station. She felt deeply compelled to help Hwa Shin and devised a plan to find B Bao Gang. Bang Ja-young secretly went to B Bao Gang's grandmother's house to search for information. Learning that the grandmother was traveling, she snooped in her drawers. She found books, tissues, and a phone number. She called, and Kim Rak answered. His hesitation when she inquired about B Bao Gang made her suspect he knew her whereabouts. Unbeknownst to them, Kai Sung-suk overheard their conversation. She also went to B Bao Gang's grandmother's house to look for information about her daughter. Uncle Kim Rak, seeing both women introduce themselves as B Bao Gang's closest relatives, found it hard to discern the truth. At that moment, B Bao Gang returned from school and went upstairs. Uncle Kim Rak also realized that B Bao Gang and her father's hiding place might be due to unspoken hardships. To prevent the two women, both claiming to be B Bao Gang's mother, from discovering the girl, he hugged them until he saw B Bao Gang enter her room. Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young, awkwardly embraced, began to resist and sensed something amiss. Uncle Kim Rak lied, saying that B Bao Gang's father had taken her to his restaurant for dinner many times, but hadn't paid, so he remembered both their faces clearly. Both Bang Ja-young and Kai Sung-suk left their business cards with Uncle Kim Rak, instructing him to contact them if he received any news about B Bao Gang. Pyo Na-rai packed her things, putting on a beautiful dress belonging to her mother, to go to the hospital, hoping her mother's clothes would give her strength. The doctor told her that the hospital was full and she would have to share a room. Pyo Na-rai agreed and was surprised to find that her roommate was Lee Hwa Shin, the man she had long admired. Persuaded by reporters, Pyo Na-rai and Lee Hwa Shin reluctantly accepted the situation and shared a room. In the evening, they talked. Pyo Na-rai learned about Lee Hwa Shin's breast cancer and wept with worry. Late at night, Pyo Na-rai quietly stood by Lee Hwa Shin's bed and apologized softly. She admitted that she had initially been suspicious but hadn't expected her jinx to come true. Lee Hwa Shin told Pyo Na-rai not to feel guilty. At this point, Pyo Na-rai realized that Lee Hwa Shin wasn't asleep. He sat up and expressed his sadness that no woman would be attracted to an unsexy man. For example, now that they were in the same room, was Pyo Na-rai really attracted to him? He asked if he could kiss her. After saying this, Lee Hwa Shin angrily lay back down. Pyo Na-rai, embarrassed, closed her eyes, indicating he could. Lee Hwa Shin sat up, slowly leaning towards Pyo Na-rai. But just as he was about to kiss her, he turned away and said, "Maybe not." This left Pyo Na-rai feeling humiliated and angry. She slapped Lee Hwa Shin. Afterwards, Pyo Na-rai went outside to clear her head. She sat alone on a bench in the courtyard, reminiscing about her past with Lee Hwa Shin. 3 years ago, she began to notice him. Once, while going to work, she realized she had forgotten her employee ID card. In her panic, she saw Lee Hwa Shin swiping his card and rushed after him to enter the building. However, she pushed too hard, accidentally knocking Lee Hwa Shin down in front of everyone. Lee Hwa Shin got up, picked up his bag, and continued walking as if nothing had happened. In the elevator, Pyo Na Rai saw Lee Hwa Shin's nosebleed, but the way he handled it made her find him handsome. From then on, she paid more attention to him. One day, she saw Lee Hwa Shin arguing fiercely with the station manager about the accuracy of news reports and gradually recognized his professionalism. After work, Pyo Na Rai mustered the courage to apologize to Lee Hwa Shin for the fall. But he didn't seem to care, saying it was common. Most girls would hide it and pretend nothing happened. Later, Pyo Na Rai learned that Lee Hwa Shin had realized she was the one who caused his painful fall, but he chose not to pursue it. This further increased her admiration for him. In fact, Lee Hwa Shin was also restless in his room. It wasn't that he didn't like Pyo Na Rai. He felt she deserved a better, healthier man than himself. Late at night, when Lee Hwa Shin saw Pyo Na Rai hadn't returned, he went downstairs to look for her. He found her heading back to the ward. She rushed to him and kissed him, declaring that whether he could kiss her again was entirely up to her, then turned and left. Lee Hwa Shin's face broke into a smile. The next day, Lee Hwa Shin and Pyo Na Rai waited together in the operating room. They comforted each other. The weather forecasters in the office discussed why the station hadn't replaced Pyo Na Rai after firing her. Kai Sung-suk exasperatedly asked who wanted to be an intellectual journalist. Everyone excitedly raised their hands. Ultimately, Na Ju-hee was chosen, the same junior who had deliberately plied Pyo Na Rai with alcohol and soiled her clothes before the broadcast. The station manager highly valued Pyo Na Rai's talent and repeatedly called her, hoping she would return to anchor the weather forecast. However, Pyo Na Rai didn't answer because she was in surgery. Lee Hwa Shin and Pyo Na Rai returned to their ward after surgery. The pain returned as the anesthesia wore off. Lee Hwa Shin couldn't stand Pyo Na Rai's constantly ringing phone. He picked it up and found it was station manager Oh. The station manager ordered her to come to the station immediately. Pyo Na Rai reluctantly endured the pain, left the hospital, and took a taxi back to the station. The doctor angrily scolded the nurses for letting the patient leave. Ko Young-won arrived at the station with his assistant, carrying the presenter's clothing, and instructed the assistant to deliver the clothes to the weather reporter. However, he didn't expect the editor to misunderstand and give the outfit to Na Rai, who was preparing to present the weather report. Young-won stood in the studio, a mixture of amusement and despair. He saw Pyo Na Rai rushing to the set. Her elegant outfit caught his eye. Pyo Na Rai saw Na Ju-hee at the broadcast position and understood that Na Ju-hee had deliberately gotten her drunk to take her spot and get her fired. Na Ju-hee didn't deny it. The live weather forecast was about to begin, but neither Pyo Na Rai nor Na Ju-hee was willing to leave. The 60-second weather report could only feature one person. The station manager couldn't decide who should go on air. During their argument, Pyo Na Rai and Na Ju-hee accidentally knocked over the remote control, which landed at Young-won's feet. Nobody noticed it. Pyo Na Rai pointed out that having two people on screen would cause problems. She was prepared to step aside, but as she stepped away, Ko Young-won kicked the remote towards Pyo Na Rai, and she returned to the screen. The two of them delivered the weather report together. After the broadcast, the atmosphere was tense. Because of the on-air incident, Na Ju-hee slapped Pyo Na Rai, and Kai Sung-suk slapped Na Ju-hee, berating them both. Director Choi Dong-gi, present at the studio, couldn't tolerate Kai Sung-suk's behavior, believing it was due to the station's delayed decision-making. Ko Young-won escorted Pyo Na Rai out. The post-operative pain proved too much for Pyo Na Rai, and she fainted. On the way, she regained consciousness and received a call from Lee Hwa Shin. In fact, Lee Hwa Shin cared deeply for Pyo Na Rai, and he was extremely worried when he saw the weather report incident. However, he habitually used reprimands to express his concern, causing Pyo Na Rai to hang up. After arriving at the hospital entrance, Pyo Na Rai remembered she wanted to keep Lee Hwa Shin's breast cancer a secret. She hesitated at the entrance, refusing to go inside, but was eventually taken back to the ward. Lee Hwa Shin closed the bed curtains, taking advantage of everyone leaving to give Pyo Na Rai privacy to change clothes. He angrily confronted Pyo Na Rai, accusing her of forgetting to help him conceal his breast cancer. Na Ju-hee was speechless, then countered. Only then did he realize she had kept her promise. Afterward, Lee Hwa Shin closed the curtains, the drapes offering the best concealment. Young-won stood by Pyo Na Rai's bed with her. A doctor rushed in and scolded Pyo Na Rai. Because she wanted to help Lee Hwa Shin maintain his secret, She had told Young-won that he needed to examine an elderly woman. Pyo Kai-yul, worried about his sister, went to the station to look for her, but security refused him entry. They barged in and found Kai Sung-suk. He asked if his sister had been fired. Playing her usual cold and indifferent role, Kai Sung-suk said his sister wasn't easily fired. He should know that best. Pyo Na-rai escorted Young-won out of the hospital. In the lobby, Young-won kissed Pyo Na-rai and confessed his feelings, leaving her flustered. Bang Ya-young and Kai Sung-suk, longtime rivals, encountered each other in the elevator. They clashed again, bickering and even going to a camera-less area to fight, accusing each other of ruining their lives and happiness. Both of them cried. Pyo Na-rai and Lee Hwa Shin were so hungry they couldn't sleep. Pyo Na-rai shared her food with Lee Hwa Shin, but he refused. Pyo Na-rai was troubled by Ko Young-won's actions. She tried to get information about him from Lee Hwa Shin, but he wouldn't tell her. In fact, during Pyo Na-rai and Ko Young-won's conversation, Lee Hwa Shin had guessed his friend had feelings for her. Pyo Na-rai called station manager Oh and said she would return to work to deliver the weather forecast. The usually indecisive station manager Oh readily agreed, causing Pyo Na-rai to cry with joy. Bang Ja-young discovered her earrings were missing after returning to the place where she fought with Kai Sung-suk the previous night. She unexpectedly found a doll outside Pyo Na-rai's locker. It was a pair with a doll in her own bag. Bang Ja-young, distraught, called Pyo Na-rai, but her phone was charging. B-ball gang's father, Lee Sung-shin, woke from his coma. Uncle Kim Rak rushed to the hospital, and Lee Sung-shin repeatedly mentioned Hwa Shin and Na-rai. He asked the doctor for permission to return to the station, but the doctor firmly refused. Pyo Na-rai, as if wound up like a spring, quietly left the hospital for the station. A nurse gave Pyo Na-rai a post-surgical support bra designed to help restore breast shape. Lee Hwa Shin also wanted one, believing only men with breasts deserved to wear shirts, after being splashed with cold water by a nurse and informed that there are no bras for men. Lee Hwa Shin is frustrated and keeps thinking about Pyo Na-rai. He asks her to buy him a compression bra. Na-rai buys him one, and Lee Hwa Shin promises to repay her kindness after he's discharged from the hospital. When Lee Hwa Shin tries on the bra, Pyo Na-rai finds it hilarious and secretly films him. Upon realizing she's being recorded, Hwa Shin tries to grab her phone and demands she delete the video, but unsuccessfully. Pyo Na-rai then answers a call from Bang Ya-young, who asks where she bought the doll keychain because it's not for sale. Pyo Na-rai replies that the doll is her younger brother. Bang Ja-young worriedly asks if she knows B-ball gang. Unaware of any implication, Pyo Na-rai says B-ball gang is a child who lives downstairs, inadvertently revealing B-ball gang's address to Bang Ya-young. Ko Young-won visits Pyo Na-rai at the hospital. At the hospital gate, his assistant shows him a clip of Pyo Na-rai hosting a shopping program. Pyo Na-rai arrives, immediately embarrassed upon seeing him. She offers to perform the shopping program live for him if he promises not to watch the video. Ultimately, she's unable to perform and breaks down in shame and tears. Ko Young-won finds Pyo Na-rai crying in a corner and takes her out to eat. When Lee Hwa Shin goes looking for Pyo Na-rai, he's seen by SBC announcer Hong Hae-won. He lies, saying he has dengue fever, and then criticizes her news report. Bang Ya-young goes to B-ball gang's home, and Kai Sung-suk, having learned about it, goes to the school to find B-ball gang. Hwa Shin receives a call from his brother. His brother expresses his longing, then faints. B-ball gang, in class, receives a call about his father's critical condition and rushes to the hospital. In front of the teacher's office, he runs into his biological mother, Kai Sung-suk. Di-gu, Pyo Kai-yul, and Lai Hong rush to the hospital, along with Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young. They witness Sung-shin's final breaths, overcome with grief. B-ball gang's grandmother arrives home to a phone call informing her of her son's death. Lee Hwa Shin later attends his brother's funeral. At the funeral, Bang Ya-young and Kai Sung-suk slap Uncle Kim Rak, blaming him for not informing them about B-ball gang. Uncle Kim Rak secretly pockets Sung-shin's will, which designates Bang Ya-young as B-ball gang's guardian. He decides to wait before revealing this. Pyo Na-rai shows Young-won the video on her phone, and they both laugh. Pyo Na-rai begins broadcasting the morning weather report, leaving home at 3 a.m. to get to the station. Downstairs, she sees Young-won asleep in his car. He was waiting to drive her to work. On the way, they talk and laugh, their hearts drawing closer. Lee Hwa Shin, misunderstanding Pyo Na Rai, gives her the silent treatment. When Pyo Na Rai sees him drinking milky coffee before a broadcast, knowing it's bad for his recovery, she hesitates to approach him. He ignores her and leaves. Kai Sung-suk seeks out Bebal Gang's grandmother to reclaim custody, but the grandmother states she doesn't have custody rights. Kai Sung-suk is heartbroken, having relinquished custody as part of a previous agreement. Bebal Gang can live with her when he turns 18. Young-won takes Pyo Na Rai to his company to choose clothes. Coincidentally, Young-won's mother brings the SBC announcer, her daughter-in-law-to-be, Kim Jun-soo, to the fitting room. Overhearing their conversation, Pyo Na Rai becomes embarrassed and quietly sneaks out. Ko Young-won notices and finds an excuse to go look for her. Pyo Na Rai goes to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor tells her that Lee Hwa Shin has never come for an examination or radiation therapy. This worries Pyo Na Rai, and she contemplates how to get Lee Hwa Shin to the hospital. Lee Hwa Shin, having been kicked out of his house by his mother, is living in the company dormitory. Young-won conveniently offers to let Lee Hwa Shin stay at his place. Lee Hwa Shin wakes up in the middle of the night and goes to where Pyo Na Rai is sleeping to find his cell phone. He tries to delete the video of himself wearing the compression bra. Pyo Na Rai wakes up. Lee Hwa Shin mistakenly believes Pyo Na Rai showed the clip to Young-won. Pyo Na Rai, on the other hand, wants to persuade Lee Hwa Shin to get radiation therapy in exchange for deleting the video. Lee Hwa Shin refuses and insists on getting his phone back. During their struggle, they accidentally drop the phone into water. Ko Young-won wakes up, finds them, and questions them about what happened. Bebal Gang goes to a nightclub to drink and dance. She intentionally expresses her discontent and gets into a conflict with someone. Both Bebal Gang and the other person are taken to the police station, ostensibly for Bebal Gang's well-being. Bang Ja-young decides to move to Leppas. While using a moving company, she discovers that Kai Sung-suk also hired a moving company to go to Lee Hwa Shin's former house. Lee Hwa Shin, kicked out by his mother, arrives with 2 suitcases to better care for his niece. The three argue incessantly. Kai Sung-suk even kicks over Bang Ja-young's belongings. This shocks Uncle Kim Rak and Ko Young-won's maternal aunt. Pyo Na Rai is curious why Ko Young-won likes her, but he doesn't directly answer. Lee Hwa Shin asks Ko Young-won why he cares for Pyo Na Rai, feeling somewhat uncomfortable since she's someone he likes. Ko Young-won's mother tells Bebal Gang's grandmother about Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young moving into Bebal Gang's house. Pyo Na Rai goes to Young-won's office. He takes her measurements, expressing his intention to make one-of-a-kind clothes for her. Pyo Na Rai encounters Lee Hwa Shin at the company and again urges him to go to the hospital. However, Lee Hwa Shin says he's busy competing for a news anchor position at a hotel and doesn't have time. Kai Sung-suk is also participating in this election. Lee Hwa Shin confides in Pyo Na Rai about his reluctance to go to the hospital, and she promises to protect him from false rumors. Hong Hae-won invites Lee Hwa Shin for a drink. She tells him to work hard on the 9 o'clock news, expressing her anticipation of his performance. Lee Hwa Shin goes to Pyo Na Rai's break room at the broadcasting station, but due to drinking, his chest is slightly unbuttoned. He sees someone with their back turned, wearing a face mask, and says something before leaving. However, the person in the bed wearing the mask is not Na Rai. Director Oh invited everyone in the newsroom to dinner that night to announce the open recruitment plan for a broadcaster. He told everyone about Lee Hwa Shin's picky eating habits due to his illness. He couldn't eat pork belly, smoke, or drink alcohol. Pyo Na Rai ordered him beef, and while everyone was toasting, she quickly took his glass and drank it for him. The others, engrossed in their own conversations, remained oblivious. During karaoke, Lee Hwa Shin couldn't stand seeing everyone socializing while ignoring Pyo Na Rai's singing. He went up and sang with her. Pyo Na Rai went outside after drinking, feeling unwell. Lee Hwa Shin followed her and carried her back to the broadcasting station. He took her to the restroom. Seeing her suffering from the alcohol she drank for him, he felt immense guilt and sat beside her bed, lost in thought. He gently patted her until she fell asleep. Then, overcome with sleepiness himself, he drifted off next to her. Unbeknownst to them, many colleagues gossiped about the pair after they left, believing they were in love. Ko Young-won rushed to the technician's room to pick up Kim Soo-young. He readily agreed to her request because he wanted to tell her that his mother was a former broadcaster and always hoped he would marry one. However, he already had someone he liked. Before he could confess, Kim Soo-young shared the gossip about HWA Shin and Pyo Na-rai. She told Young-won that his good friend, Lee HWA Shin, seemed to be romantically involved with Pyo Na-rai. This news was like a stone thrown into still water, creating ripples of turmoil in Young-won's heart. Lu Bang-ja-young was also intoxicated at the dinner. She returned to Bebal Gang's house but accidentally went into Uncle Kim Rak's room and lay down beside him. Kai Sung-suk arrived at Bebal Gang's room. Hong Hae-won, who had a high level of self-esteem and harbored feelings for Lee HWA Shin, overheard colleagues discussing Pyo Na-rai and Lee HWA Shin's apparent romance. Unwilling to believe it, she went to Pyo Na-rai's restroom at the station. She unexpectedly found Lee HWA Shin sleeping next to Pyo Na-rai. Upon waking, he saw Hong Hae-won. He pulled her out of the room. Hong Hae-won directly asked if he liked Pyo Na-rai. Lee HWA Shin tried to explain, but even he hadn't realized his feelings for Pyo Na-rai yet. However, Hong Hae-won didn't believe him. She saw the affection in his gaze towards Pyo Na-rai. Lee HWA Shin insisted it was a misunderstanding caused by alcohol, but Hong Hae-won's words left him deeply contemplative. He went straight to the gym. Ko Young-won also arrived at the SBC broadcasting station. In Pyo Na-rai's waiting room, he saw Lee HWA Shin, who, after visiting Pyo Na-rai, had gone to the boxing gym. Lee HWA Shin challenged him to a fight. They had a fierce match, culminating in Lee HWA Shin letting Ko Young-won win. Afterwards, they talked, mainly about their shared crush, Pyo Na-rai. Ko Young-won mentioned hearing about Lee HWA Shin and Pyo Na-rai's relationship, but he believed it was just a rumor. He then instructed his assistant to bring Na-rai hangover tea and specially designed clothes. Ko Young-won went to Pyo Na-rai's restroom, confessing his feelings and giving her the clothes he had prepared. When Uncle Kim Rak woke up in the morning, he was speechless to find Bang Ya-young asleep in his bed. Bang Ya-young, equally surprised upon waking, tearfully apologized. After Bebal Gang woke up and saw Kai Sung-suk sleeping beside him, he kicked her out. Outside, a mortified Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young ran into each other at breakfast. Bebal Gang and Daegu exchanged sarcastic remarks before leaving. Kai Sung-suk also made snide comments about Na-rai, prompting Uncle Kim Rak to angrily tell her not to come to the store again as a broadcaster. Par-jin wanted Pyo Na-rai to wear the outfit Young-won designed, but she refused. Par-jin was displeased and secretly envious of Pyo Na-rai. She made inappropriate remarks during a news broadcast, leading to a scolding from the director. Two colleagues mocked Pyo Na-rai in the changing room, causing her to lash out. Lee HWA Shin intervened. He and Pyo Na-rai went to a cosmetics store. Pyo Na-rai asked Lee HWA Shin to buy her a lipstick to commemorate their shared ordeal, explaining why she was happy to see Bang Ja-young and Kai Sung-suk in the living room. They found Bebal Gang's grandmother there. The grandmother told them she was moving in, and they both welcomed her. On the anniversary of Ko Young-won's parents' wedding, Young-won gave his mother his father's letter. His mother asked him to read it himself, then reacted dramatically after discovering it was a divorce petition. Not wanting to upset her, Ko Young-won lied. He later called his father, asking him to visit his mother. News of Ko Young-won and Kim Soo-young's relationship spread online. A secretary informed Ko Young-won. Colleagues at the station learned about Kim Soo-young and Young-won's relationship, with a famous designer and Kibal offering continuous congratulations. Meanwhile, Pyo Na-rai saw the online news and felt a little sad. Ko Young-won went to the station but couldn't find Pyo Na-rai. He went to see Lee HWA Shin on the top floor, asking for news about Pyo Na-rai and for his help. Pyo Na-rai went to a department store and gave the clothes designed by Ko Young-won to an employee, asking them to pass it on to Young-won. Ko Young-won's mother witnessed this scene and haughtily told Pyo Na-rai to stay away from her son. Young-won arrived and saw the encounter, angrily confronting his mother. Lee HWA Shin suddenly remembered his radiation therapy appointment and discovered that Pyo Na-rai was waiting for him at their pre-arranged meeting spot. He waited for her. Pyo Na-rai noticed he wasn't driving to the hospital. Lee HWA Shin realized Pyo Na-rai was upset about the situation with Ko Young-won and Kim Soo-young. He reassured her that Ko Young-won was someone she could trust, detailing things Ko Young-won liked. Lee HWA Shin hoped his crush could find happiness. Young-won saw the clothes Pyo Na-rai had returned. Lee Hwa Shin also took Pyo Na-rai to Ko Young-won's department store, where they coincidentally ran into him as he was leaving. Ko Young-won was deeply moved. It began to rain, so Ko Young-won pulled Pyo Na-rai into his car. He asked if her earlier behavior was because of him. Seeing his tired state, Pyo Na-rai shyly nodded. Ko Young-won expressed his gratitude for her support. Pyo Na-rai mentioned Lee Hwa Shin bringing her there, only then realizing he was gone. They got out of the car to search, finding Lee Hwa Shin's car parked, but him nowhere in sight. Pyo Na-rai felt immense guilt. Lee Hwa Shin once again regretted not going to the hospital with her. He walked alone down a deserted street in the pouring rain. The sight of Pyo Na-rai and Young-won together made him realize he had fallen in love with her without realizing it. Ko Young-won's mother visited Uncle Kim Rak, her younger brother, at La Peste. She brought him medicine, a special remedy for indifference she'd bought in Paris, urging him to take it so he could marry and have children soon. He was helpless against her nagging, telling her that after dating many women and having numerous affairs, his current situation was karmic retribution. He pulled her out of the kitchen, and she silently placed the medicine on top of the cupboard. Lee Hwa Shin, drunk and unsteady, returned to the broadcasting station. Everyone he encountered asked him out on a date. Reaching the newsroom, he confessed his feelings to Hong Hae-won, who was sitting at her desk. She questioned if he even knew who she was. He shook his head. Hong Hae-won stood up and scolded him, telling him to stop buying cars. She also questioned him about his ideal 9 o'clock news anchor. Ko Young-won found Soo-young and frankly declared that they couldn't marry because he didn't love her. Soo-young asked if he liked someone else. Young-won admitted to liking Pyo Na-rai. Unexpectedly, Kim Soo-young readily accepted this. Later, a drunk Lee Hwa Shin went to Pyo Na-rai's restroom. She angrily questioned his excessive drinking, his harmful habits, and his failure to go to the hospital for his radiation therapy, stating that his actions were driving her crazy with worry. He didn't answer her questions, instead asking her out on a date. He said he'd do anything for her if she agreed. Pyo Na-rai shyly laughed and asked him to sing and dance. He obliged, even rapping at her request. Lee Hwa Shin questioned her about her 3-year unrequited love for him. Had she ever regretted it? Pyo Na-rai smiled at him. Lee Hwa Shin masked his disappointment with silliness, telling Na-rai he wanted ramen. While she looked for it, he mumbled to himself about how his heart changed when he liked someone. He still couldn't accept the reality of Young-won and Pyo Na-rai together. The next morning, Bang Ja-young and Kai Sung-suk saw Bebal Gang getting ready for school. They saw her report card and repeatedly warned her to study hard, emphasizing that her 200th place ranking wouldn't get her into university. Bebal Gang revealed that her school only had 200 students. The mothers were astonished, asking if she was last in the class. Bebal Gang's nonchalant attitude and defiant tone angered them. Uncle Kim Rak also urged her to speak respectfully to her mothers. Bang Ja-young slapped Bebal Gang, who burst into tears and asked where her mothers had been during her childhood. Both mothers felt immense guilt. In the elevator, the other news anchors ridiculed Lee Hwa Shin for his drunken behavior the previous night, recounting how he'd asked everyone out on a date. Lee Hwa Shin felt utterly humiliated. After greeting his mother, Ko Young-won was about to leave for a company meeting when she stopped him. She mentioned Pyo Na-rai's accurate weather forecast about the evening rain. She stated that, from her perspective, Young-won's girlfriend was an acquaintance. Pointing out his daily on-air deception to the nation, she revealed that Soo-young had visited, expressing her strong feelings for Young-won and her desire to marry him. Young-won's mother then told him that his father had said he wouldn't divorce her if Young-won and Soo-young were together. Young-won was furious upon discovering Soo-young's breach of their agreement and her actions behind his back. A real estate agent called Lee Hwa Shin about a suitable house near Bebal Gang's home. He rushed to pay the deposit, only to discover his account was empty. He recalled a recent phone call and suspected online fraud. Someone had contacted him offering financial advice and urging him to invest in stocks. Lee Hwa Shin unexpectedly visited a steam bathhouse, unknowingly stumbling into an illegal gambling operation. He was discovered and beaten by the staff, but despite his injuries, he managed to take some photos as evidence. Ko Young-won decided to take Lee Hwa Shin and Pyo Na-rai out for dinner. Confronted with this, Lee Hwa Shin claimed a prior engagement. Young-won insisted, but Lee Hwa Shin was at a loss until Hong Hae-won opportunely appeared, claiming a date with him, saving the situation. However, Ko Young-won found this strange, knowing that Hong Hae-won wasn't HWA Shin's type. Kai Sung-suk bought many vegetables intending to cook for Lee HWA Shin. The store owner helped her carry them home, repeatedly calling her phone. Later, she realized it might have been because of her sister's medicine. Bang Ja-young picked up Bebal Gang from school, greeting other parents to learn more about their children. Lee HWA Shin moved next door to Bebal Gang, his balcony facing Pyo Na-rai's. He borrowed 10 million won from Hong Hae-won to help pay for the apartment. From his balcony, he saw Young-won giving Pyo Na-rai a gift. Back inside, Hong Hae-won urged Lee HWA Shin to confess his love for Pyo Na-rai and win her back, suggesting that while friendship might suffer, love would flourish, even if it meant being a scoundrel. Ko Young-won learned that Lee HWA Shin had moved. He understood the situation and overheard their conversation. Hong Hae-won jokingly told Lee HWA Shin not to be a scoundrel and to confess his love and co-anchor the news with her. But Lee HWA Shin retorted that he would indeed be a scoundrel. When Pyo Na-rai returned home, she was surprised to see Hong Hae-won and Lee HWA Shin on the opposite balcony. Hong Hae-won laughed, and Lee HWA Shin said not to think he wouldn't act like a villain. Young-won angrily left after hearing HWA Shin's words. Lee HWA Shin and Hong Hae-won then noticed Pyo Na-rai on her balcony. Lee HWA Shin told her he moved to take care of Na-rai. As Hong Hae-won left, she saw Ko Young-won's car and realized he'd overheard her conversation with HWA Shin. She pleaded with him, asking if it was true that Lee HWA Shin liked Pyo Na-rai, and insisted that Lee HWA Shin would never intentionally wrong a friend. She urged Ko Young-won to pretend he knew nothing. Later, Lee HWA Shin invited Ko Young-won for drinks. He told Young-won he was going to confess his feelings to Pyo Na-rai and bluntly stated he couldn't remain friends with him anymore. Young-won replied that it was impossible. Lee HWA Shin confessed his desire to be with Pyo Na-rai, to hold her hand and embrace her, but he could only share these feelings with Ko Young-won. Pyo Na-rai would never know the depth of his feelings. Ko Young-won understood and realized Lee HWA Shin's choice. Ultimately, he chose love over friendship. Uncle Kim Rak, having just taken medication his sister gave him, was drowsy and only wore sunglasses while cooking. Lee Hong-daegu and Pyo Ka-yeol arrived at the house, bursting in. She told Uncle Kim Rak that from that day on, she also wanted to be Pyo Ka-yeol's mother, and would try her best to treat Poo-chan well. Leaving a convenience store, Na unexpectedly ran into a drunken Lee HWA Shin returning home. She questioned him about moving to the neighborhood. Their houses were so close they could hear each other, causing inconvenience for both. However, Lee HWA Shin was deeply conflicted between his friend and Pyo Na-rai. He didn't want Pyo Na-rai near him because it would weaken his resolve. He was doing his best to suppress his feelings. He couldn't betray his friend. Therefore, HWA Shin repeatedly asked Na-rai to leave and stay away from him. Pyo Na-rai, furious, threw the ice cream she was holding at Lee HWA Shin. Unexpectedly, it hit him in the face. She repeatedly apologized, but Lee HWA Shin ignored her and went home alone. He remembered his past mocking comments towards Pyo Na-rai 3 years ago, when he first learned of her feelings. He couldn't contain himself any longer. He crouched on his balcony, crying openly and kicking over a bucket in frustration and anguish. The next morning, Pyo Ka-yeol saw Pyo Na-rai off to work. He wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. The following day was a mandatory college application counseling session at school, and Pyo Ka-yeol, a top student, could get into the best medical school in Korea, but he didn't want his sister to struggle financially supporting his education. He planned to apply to other schools. The following morning, Lee HWA Shin went to Bebal Gang's house to take her to school. Later, at the broadcasting station, his assignment was to cover a story in I letter 1 Son, presumably a location, and he was instructed to bring Pyo Na-rai along. He was also tasked with filming a 60-second weather report there. Unexpectedly, Kai Sung-suk claimed the assignment and insisted on taking Pyo Na-rai with her. Ko Young-won was in a meeting, but he was preoccupied with Pyo Na-rai's situation. Mid-meeting, he stormed out of his office and went to the broadcasting station, directly to Lee HWA Shin's studio. He confronted HWA Shin, demanding to know why he'd let Pyo Na-rai pine for him for 3 years. Ko Young-won urged Lee HWA Shin not to confess his feelings to Pyo Na-rai, claiming he believed he could handle the situation. At that moment, Pyo Na-rai entered the studio, surprised to see Young-won. Ko Young-won immediately pulled Pyo Na-rai away. Lee Hwa Shin, visible from inside the studio, called out to Young-won, urging him not to believe him, as his own feelings for Pyo Na-rai were incredibly strong. On the stairs, Pyo Na-rai told Ko Young-won that she and Kai Sung-suk were going on a business trip the next morning. Ko Young-won abruptly asked Pyo Na-rai whether she liked him or Lee Hwa Shin more. Pyo Na-rai could only laugh, unable to answer, but Ko Young-won told her she didn't need to answer and left. Pyo Na-rai and Kai Sung-suk were in the car, heading to TRI Letter 1EC1 Yusan for an interview. Kai Sung-suk received a call from Uncle Kim Rak, who informed her that B-Bal Gang had signed up for the school's volunteer counseling session at 10 a.m. that day. Uncle Kim Rak wanted B-Bal Gang's classmates to know he had two mothers. Fearing this would cause problems for B-Bal Gang, he asked Kai Sung-suk to have Bang Ja-young attend the parent-teacher meeting instead. Kai Sung-suk, excited, pulled the car over and sent Pyo Na-rai shopping, then quickly instructed the driver to take her to the school. Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young arrived at the counseling session. When the teacher asked who B-Bal Gang's mother was, Kai Sung-suk stood up and identified herself. Acknowledging B-Bal Gang's poor grades, she emphasized that every child has potential and that grades shouldn't be the sole determinant of their worth. She pleaded with the teacher not to give up on B-Bal Gang, promising to help him improve his grades. Bang Ja-young, wanting to prevent B-Bal Gang from feeling shame, stepped forward and introduced herself as Kai Yul's stepmother. After learning about Kai Yul's situation, she expressed her full support for his college application. B-Bal Gang's heart melted as she watched her two mothers show their love. Kim Rak also began to appreciate and admire them. Pyo Na-rai went to the beach. Meanwhile, Lee Hwa Shin was eating instant noodles at a convenience store and noticed a young boy drawing a picture. The picture depicted Pyo Na-rai, with the words, "I love you, Na-rai" written on it. Lee Hwa Shin gave the boy 3,000 won and bought the drawing. He then received a call from the director, ordering him to immediately go to TRI Letter 1EC1 Yusan to cover a news story. Ko Young-won, remembering Pyo Na-rai's earlier words, raced to TRI Letter 1EC1 Yusan as well. On the beach, Pyo Na-rai was excitedly catching octopuses, hoping to improve Pyo Bum's health. Taking advantage of the receding tide and the abundance of octopuses on the exposed sandbar, Young-won arrived at the beach, ignoring the mud, and headed towards Pyo Na-rai. He spotted Lee Hwa Shin several meters away to his left, also approaching Pyo Na-rai. Aware of their mutual feelings for her, they got into a fight. Ko Young-won then grabbed Lee Hwa Shin's leg, dragging him in front of Pyo Na-rai. Covered in mud, Pyo Na-rai almost didn't recognize him. Demanding that Pyo Na-rai choose between him and Lee Hwa Shin, his hand, still holding Hwa Shin's leg, accidentally knocked over the bucket where Pyo Na-rai had kept the octopuses. The octopuses escaped. Seeing all her hard-caught octopuses fleeing, Pyo Na-rai burst into tears. Lee Hwa Shin and Young-won each grabbed one of Pyo Na-rai's arms and pulled her away, suggesting they all clean up at a nearby makeshift bathroom. But Lee Hwa Shin said nothing and left alone. The simple bathroom door closed. Pyo Na-rai and Ko Young-won washed their faces and hands with water guns by the door. They playfully squirted each other, enjoying a lighthearted moment. Young-won took Pyo Na-rai back to her station provided accommodations, asking her to clean up before he picked her up for dinner with Hwa Shin. Later, Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young left the school together. Kai Sung-suk told Bang Ja-young she was going on a date with Jin. Bang Ja-young insisted that Kim Rak liked her. The two argued again, their lives altered by their affection for the same man. Meanwhile, Kim Rak was asking B-Bal Gang which mother he wanted to live with, worried that B-Bal Gang's current situation was hurting both of them. When pressed to choose, Kim Rak inadvertently revealed that he'd initially wanted to observe which woman was better suited to care for B-Bal Gang. But gradually, he'd discovered positive qualities in both and concluded that they were both suitable wives for him. Pyo Na-rai returned to the living area, changed her clothes, and went to Lee Hwa Shin's room to invite him to dinner. However, Hwa Shin ignored her. As she got closer, she noticed he was running a high fever, sweating profusely, and with a flushed chest. Without explanation, she took him to the hospital. Just as they were driving away, Ko Young-won arrived, having called Pyo Na-rai but received no answer. Lee Hwa Shin was in bed, receiving attentive care from Pyo Na-rai. He wanted her to leave, but she refused. He asked why she was being so kind to him. She sighed, saying she couldn't leave him alone while he was sick. Then, Lee Hwa Shin asked her if she found him pathetic. She admitted she did, relating to his suffering, as she, too, had experienced breast cancer at a young age. Lee Hwa Shin muttered to himself that it was just like that. He felt a kinship with Pyo Na-rai's presence. He asked Pyo Na-rai to return to the dormitory and bring her work documents. In reality, he left for Seoul alone. Ko Young-won, waiting in the rest area, saw Pyo Na-rai return. He was emotional, scolding her for not answering her phone, then realizing he'd overreacted and apologized. Pyo Na-rai arrived at the hospital with the work documents, only to find Lee Hwa Shin gone. Ko Young-won also received a call from Lee Hwa Shin, learning that he'd returned to the broadcasting station. Lee Hwa Shin began avoiding Director Oh, who handed him a schedule, choosing presenters, and asking him to prepare for the news anchor selection. Lee Hwa Shin told him he had only one goal, to become the 9 o'clock news anchor. Lee Hwa Shin approached Hong Hae-won, asking her to be his audition and practice partner. Lee Hwa Shin's mother quietly visited his apartment, bringing him kimchi and food. While helping him tidy up, she accidentally found Lee Hwa Shin's prescription in his jacket pocket. Upon learning about his breast cancer, she was shocked. Pyo Na-rai secretly watched Lee Hwa Shin and Hong Hae-won practice together in the studio, hoping to learn some skills. Lee Hwa Shin, seeing Pyo Na-rai, deliberately spoke harshly and chased her away. His intention was to avoid having Pyo Na-rai linger near him, as he couldn't control his emotions. Choi Dong-gi gave the news anchor candidate videos to Director W's people and mentioned to Lee Hwa Shin, "You know he's seen them." Pyo Na-rai also applied for the morning news anchor audition. Choi Dong-gi and Lee Hwa Shin watched Pyo Na-rai's audition video. Choi Dong-gi's expression showed admiration for Pyo Na-rai's sincerity. In the elevator, Pyo Na-rai encountered Lee Hwa Shin. He reminded her that it was Young-won's birthday the next day and urged her not to forget to celebrate it. After work, Pyo Na-rai took the opportunity to ride in Lee Hwa Shin's car and asked about Ko Young-won's food preferences. Lee Hwa Shin told her everything he knew. When Ko Young-won's mother heard that Pyo Na-rai was running for news anchor, she deliberately instructed Ko Young-won's secretary to message him that the final judge for the anchor selection would be the chairwoman of the SBC Anchor Association. Ko Young-won visited Hwa Shin, and the two drank soju together outside the neighborhood convenience store. When Pyo Na-rai returned with groceries, she found Lee Hwa Shin and Ko Young-won drunk and took them home. While they used the restroom, Pyo Na-rai saw Pyo Bum in front of Lee Hwa Shin's house. Pyo Bum had drawn a picture of Pyo Na-rai and wanted to sell it to Lee Hwa Shin. Lee Hwa Shin bought many of the drawings and put them up on his wall. Pyo Na-rai went to Lee Hwa Shin's balcony intending to take him home, but the boy wouldn't listen to her and took her inside. Lee Hwa Shin and Pyo Na-rai looked at the pictures on the wall. From the inscriptions Hwa Shin had written, she understood the depth of his feelings for her. Lee Hwa Shin and Young-won were on Pyo Na-rai's balcony. The two drunken men were singing merrily. Lee Hwa Shin found it strange that the lights were on inside and told Young-won to go home and change clothes. Back at home, he discovered the lights were off. Pyo Na-rai and Pyo Bum had left Lee Hwa Shin's room and were hiding in a corner of the balcony. When Lee Hwa Shin went into the bedroom to change, Pyo Na-rai pulled Pyo Bum outside. Ko Young-won's mother asked her secretary what time Pyo Na-rai's weather report was. Upon learning it was after 7 p.m., she specifically called Bang Ja-young to inquire about the news anchor audition time. She deliberately told Bang Ja-young that she had prior commitments and needed to leave for an overseas trip, forcing the audition time to be moved to 8 a.m. She also used this opportunity to mention the company's increased advertising efforts. Bang Ja-young, noting the time hadn't been formally announced, offered to accommodate her and changed the audition time to 8 a.m. Pyo Na-rai prepared a birthday party for Ko Young-won. She sang happy birthday and celebrated with him. Even though the food she cooked was too salty, Young-won was still very happy. Lee Hwa Shin returned home dejectedly and took down all the paintings on his wall. He decided to give up, not just for Chunji's happiness, but also for his good friends. The secretary drove Young-won home. On the way, the secretary told Young-won that his mother had deliberately moved the time to 8 o'clock to prevent Pyo Na-rai from attending the audition. Na-rai starts recording the weather forecast at 7 o'clock, and at the earliest, finishes at 7:45. There's no way she could run from Studio A, where the weather forecast is recorded, to the distant Studio B for the test in just 15 minutes. Young-won was extremely disappointed with his mother's actions. After Young-won left, Na-rai stood on her balcony. Hwa Shin was also standing on his balcony. They saw each other, and Na-rai wanted to ask about the painting, but didn't know how. After considering it, she decided not to. Hwa Shin went inside and decided to burn the paintings. A gust of wind blew through, and one of the remaining paintings caught fire. Hwa Shin watched it burn in despair. Early the next morning, Na-rai was standing by the road, preparing to go to work. She flagged down Hwa Shin, who was driving to work. After getting into the car, she told him she had something to tell him. Just then, Hwa Shin's car encountered Young-won's, who was coming to pick Na-rai up for work. Na-rai quickly crouched down so Young-won wouldn't see her. Then, she received a call from Young-won saying he was downstairs and was about to take her to work. While Young-won was waiting, the wind-blown painting landed on his car. He picked it up and put it inside. After hanging up the phone, Hwa Shin mocked Na-rai for trying to hide. Kai Sung-suk went to Chef Kim Rak's restaurant and met Bang Ja-young, who was already there eating. Chef Rak told them that loving him wasn't up to him, but that they had to love him, confessing that he was cold and wouldn't hold hands or kiss them. Both women were surprised by this news. Chef Rak asked them to think carefully and make a considered decision. Leaving the restaurant, Sung-suk and Ya-young, having changed their usual dynamic, began to yield to each other, asking each other and Chef Rak to be happy together. Na-rai received a message about the audition time for a senior announcer position and started to worry. Na Ju-hee, who had also applied for the audition, saw Na-rai's anxiety and began to gloat, telling her to adjust her audition time. Young-won's mother seized the opportunity to propose her own conditions. She demanded that Young-won break up with Na-rai in exchange for her pulling strings to get Na-rai the anchor position. Otherwise, she wouldn't even consider it. Hwa Shin opened his door and found his mother sitting outside crying. She confessed that she knew about his breast cancer and felt incredibly guilty. She felt Hwa Shin was blamed by those around him for his brother's issues, and had internalized a lot of pain. His mother claimed this was one of the reasons for his breast cancer. She cried and asked Hwa Shin to follow his heart and do what he wanted. Hwa Shin hugged his mother and told her he couldn't do what he wanted now, because he desperately wanted to be with Na-rai, but couldn't. Hwa Shin saw his doll at Na-rai's place and went to find her to clarify the situation. Knowing Na-rai had been to his house, he realized she must know about his feelings for her. While director Oh Sung-suk and Ja-young were meeting, the Cosmos Festival was discussed. Sung-suk thought Na-rai should be allowed to go to the festival to record the weather forecast. The audition was scheduled for 8 o'clock, and if Na-rai was on location, she definitely wouldn't make it back in time. Hwa Shin, arriving at the office, overheard their conversation. Director Oh and Ja-young believed Na-rai should focus on the immediate task at hand. When Na-rai learned she was scheduled to film at the Cosmos Festival on the day of her interview, she was forced to find a courier and ask him to rush her to the audition location. Within 15 minutes, Pyo Na-rai learned the serious consequences of temporarily altering the airplane's route for her interview. She'd told Lee Hwa Shin not to do anything rash for her sake, and because of his fear of heights, he now didn't even know how to report the news. When anchor Na Ju-hee got off the plane, Lee Hwa Shin urged her to relax. Pyo Na-rai rushed to the interview location. As she reached the testing floor and was about to enter, Lee Hwa Shin pulled her aside and told her to sit on the stairs to compose herself. With only 7 minutes left, Lee Hwa Shin took out his hand and detailed the test. He told Pyo Na-rai all the possible scenarios that could arise and how to address them. He held Pyo Na-rai's hand, wanting to give her strength. Due to Go Young-won's interference, his mother arrived late. This gave Pyo Na-rai extra time to prepare. Lee Hwa Shin told the captain that no matter what, he could only say that changing the route was his own idea and had nothing to do with anyone else. During the exam, Pyo Na-rai handled various emergency situations well, following Lee Hwa Shin's guidance. She felt that Lee Hwa Shin was always behind the camera, watching over her. Finally, Pyo Na-rai won praise from everyone present with her outstanding performance, and director Choi Dong-gi couldn't help but commend her repeatedly. However, Go Young-won's mother still wasn't willing to give up. She was very picky and gave several far-fetched reasons to express that Pyo Na-rai wasn't suitable to be an anchor. Returning from the Busan interview, the first thing Lee Hwa Shin did upon arriving at the company was to call Pyo Na-rai. But he helplessly watched at the broadcasting station's entrance as Go Young-won held Pyo Na-rai's hand and left. Outside the studio, Lee Hwa Shin met Hong Hae-won and asked her about Pyo Na-rai's interview. Hong Hae-won was annoyed, but still told Lee Hwa Shin that Pyo Na-rai performed very well, much better than the other candidates. Go Young-won was handling work at the company and asked Pyo Na-rai to sit aside and wait for him. As the two were talking, Go Young-won complained that Pyo Na-rai never actively called or asked him out. Pyo Na-rai told Go Young-won that she had fallen in love with him at first sight. This moved Young-won deeply. Director Woo found Lee Hwa Shin and angrily asked him why he changed the plane's route, telling him that the incident had been reported to the disciplinary committee. Lee Hwa Shin lied, saying it was because he had left some information at the broadcasting station. But the director, knowing he was lying, scolded Lee Hwa Shin because he was worried that Lee Hwa Shin wouldn't be able to participate in the 9 o'clock news anchor election because of this incident. Pyo Na-rai overheard everything outside and felt very guilty. After returning home, Pyo Na-rai sat on the bed on the balcony, looking at the words, "Pyo Na-rai, I love you," written by Lee Hwa Shin in his painting. A smile unconsciously appeared on her face. Lee Hwa Shin had just returned home at this time. Pyo Na-rai thanked him, and he asked her to treat him to ice cream. They went to the convenience store in the neighborhood together. Pyo Na-rai once again expressed her gratitude to Lee Hwa Shin and asked if he would be a reporter with her if she became an anchor. Lee Hwa Shin said that in life, you shouldn't use questions but learn to use exclamations, thinking that she would definitely succeed. Afterward, Lee Hwa Shin asked Pyo Na-rai if he liked her, also saying that Pyo Na-rai could pursue her own happiness and be with Go Young-won as long as he was sincere about her. The next morning, Lee Hwa Shin's mother came to his house. She made a hearty breakfast and told Lee Hwa Shin to eat well. Before leaving, she specifically went to Lee Hwa Shin's room and told him that Bal Gang should treat his uncle better in the future because his uncle was sick. If his uncle passed away again, he would have no one left. Seeing her grandmother's distress and worry for her uncle, Pyo Na-rai started avoiding Lee Hwa Shin at the broadcasting company. Director Oh called Lee Hwa Shin to his office and informed him that the penalty for not reporting his travel itinerary would be a 1-month suspension plus forfeiture of 6 months' worth of bonuses. This meant Lee Hwa Shin would miss the 9 o'clock news anchor audition. Having lost his chance and deeply disappointed, Lee Hwa Shin left without a word. On his way out, he ran into director Choi Dong-gi. From their conversation, Pyo Na-rai learned about Lee Hwa Shin's suspension. In the elevator, Pyo Na-rai encountered Bang Ja-young and learned that she had gotten the coveted reporting position. Happy for herself but feeling guilty about Lee Hwa Shin, she searched for him throughout the company, but couldn't find him. Pyo Na-rai went to the place where they had agreed to meet to go to the hospital together. Lee Hwa Shin, driving by, saw her, and they both got in his car. While Lee Hwa Shin was changing in the hospital changing room and Pyo Na-rai was waiting outside, she received a text message from Go Young-won. Young-won had already learned about her becoming a news anchor from his mother, but he wanted to hear it from Pyo Na-rai herself. His message expressed his desire for her to share the good news with him directly. Upon reading the message, Pyo Na-rai felt a sudden pang of guilt. She realized she had wanted to tell Lee Hwa Shin about her success first. Surprised by this realization, she rushed into the changing room and told Lee Hwa Shin that she wouldn't like him because he was nothing compared to Go Young-won. She was actually saying these words to convince herself, trying to control her wavering feelings. Unable to restrain himself, Lee Hwa Shin kissed her. Pyo Na-rai didn't resist. He asked her if she was crazy. She replied, "At least at this moment." A nurse suddenly interrupted, asking Lee Hwa Shin if he was ready. The moment was broken. He told Pyo Na-rai to wait outside. From inside the changing room, Lee Hwa Shin continued talking to Pyo Na-rai in the hallway. When he called her Na-rai, she was stunned, as it was the first time he had addressed her so informally. He also invited her to dinner. She sighed, noting that this was also the first time he had asked her out. He urged her not to leave, but rushed out without waiting for a reply. Finding the hallway empty, he frantically searched for her, asking doctors and nurses. Young-won's secretary informed him about Lee Hwa Shin's suspension. Young-won thought about what Pyo Na-rai had told him earlier and understood the situation. Pyo Na-rai, having left the hospital, went to Go Young-won's company. She wanted to break up with him, realizing she was in love with two men and didn't want to hurt either of them. She hid behind the building. Lee Hwa Shin, having finished his treatment, also arrived at Young-won's company. He and Young-won spoke on the phone, agreeing to meet immediately. Young-won told Pyo Na-rai he loved her. She responded in kind, knowing that Lee Hwa Shin was listening on the other end of the line. Hearing this, Lee Hwa Shin turned and left. Later, in her car, Pyo Na-rai broke up with Go Young-won, confessing her love for him and another man. She expressed her regret and self-loathing, but admitted she didn't understand her own feelings. Lee Hwa Shin waited for her. He confronted her about the kiss, asking if kissing someone meant she loved them. When she confirmed, he asked her point-blank which of the two men she loved more. Pyo Na-rai honestly confessed that she loved both men intensely, leaving Lee Hwa Shin demanding an answer as to which one she loved more. However, Pyo Na-rai was so flustered she couldn't answer right then. Lee Hwa Shin, anxious and persistent in his lack of an answer, was left by Pyo Na-rai. After returning home, and after some reflection, she decided to leave, to get away from both men. At this time, Lee Hwa Shin and Young-won got into a fight on the street in their neighborhood. The two brawled, with Lee Hwa Shin taking off the clothes Ko Young-won had designed for him, declaring he would return all of them. When he returned home, Pyo Na-rai was packing her bags. Passing by, she was shocked to see the scene between the two men. When Lee Hwa Shin and Go Young-won realized Pyo Na-rai was leaving, each grabbed one of her arms, begging her not to go. Seeing her two good friends fighting over her, Pyo Na-rai couldn't stand it, telling them to find other girls and to stop liking her. As a result, all three fell silent, having been scolded by their neighbors for the commotion. Later, Go Young-won drank at home while Lee Hwa Shin sat drinking in front of the neighborhood convenience store. Both wanted to call Pyo Na-rai to confess their feelings, but they accidentally dialed each other. Each, thinking they were speaking to Pyo Na-rai, declared their love, creating a comical scene. Lee Hwa Shin temporarily moved to his mother's house. Pyo Na-rai officially became a news anchor. Lee Hwa Shin, lying on the sofa, watched her broadcast. Go Young-won, returning from abroad, was met at the airport by his mother and Jin Gangshi. Many reporters photographed them, but Go Young-won seemed distracted. Once in the car, he called Pyo Na-rai. Hong Hae-won, meanwhile, had found Pyo Na-rai and asked her on a date that weekend. Outside the broadcasting station, Pyo Na-rai ran into Lee Hwa Shin, who had come to work. Later, learning about Pyo Na-rai's upcoming date, and still affected by his rejection, Lee Hwa Shin quietly followed her to her blind date. While Pyo Na-rai was in the restroom, she sat next to Lee Hwa Shin and asked him to take her back. Lee Hwa Shin questioned why she was on a blind date, contradicting what she had said earlier. He grabbed her hand and asked her to return to him. At that moment, Go Young-won also happened to arrive at the same restaurant. Embarrassed and unable to bear not seeing Pyo Na-rai, Lee Hwa Shin even suggested that she date both of them simultaneously, letting her choose who was better. Pyo Na-rai's idea of this was understandably crazy. She made ramen for Pyo Kai-yeol, Da-ju, and Ah-hong, bringing it out to the balcony so the four of them could eat together. That evening, in bed, she received a call from Lee Hwa Shin absurdly demanding she make him ramen and buy him ice cream, confidently stating she would. Predictably, Pyo Na-rai brought Lee Hwa Shin the requested food at the convenience store. Worried about his health, she gave in to his request. At this moment, Ko Young-won also arrived. Pyo Na-rai declared she wouldn't see either of them again. Hearing this, both men were incredulous and vehemently protested, getting up to leave. Returning home, Ko Young-won found Jin Gangshi waiting for him. She accused him of going too far, as his parents now knew about his feelings for Pyo Na-rai. She revealed that she had been living with Lee Hwa Shin for 3 years and would come over every night to tell him about Pyo Na-rai's actions while she had a crush on him. Pyo Na-rai, while brushing her teeth on her balcony, saw a drunk Lee Hwa Shin returning home. She immediately scolded him, but to her surprise, Hwa Shin was delighted, mistaking her concern for affection and asking her to sleep with him. Na-rai was left speechless. Early the next morning, she rushed to the broadcasting station for the morning news. Downstairs, she ran into Young-won, who was waiting for her. thinking about how she thinks of Youngwon when she's with HWA Shin and vice versa. She was taken aback when Youngwon admitted he was aware of this and even grabbed the clothes she was carrying, putting them on to take a picture. Mortified, Na Rai fled. Arriving at the station, she found Youngwon, still wearing her clothes, waiting in the lobby. He told her someone insisted on telling him about her unrequited love for HWA Shin, piquing her curiosity about this mysterious informant and prompting her to agree to a meeting that evening. Lee HWA Shin encountered reporters Bang Ja-young and Kai Sung-suk in the elevator. They asked him to help change a broken light bulb in their broadcasting room, also pitching a shared housing lifestyle segment about single men and women renting together. HWA Shin declined to help with the light bulb. Reporter On, nearby, offered his assistance instead, as reporter Oh, Hong Hai-won's co-anchor, was on leave, requiring HWA Shin to fill in for the midday news. HWA Shin invited Na Rai to dinner, but she declined, citing a blind date. During the news broadcast, he questioned Hong Hai-won about Na Rai's date, who deliberately provoked him with the information. HWA Shin stormed out of the studio during the broadcast, but unexpectedly returned a short time later. Director Oh and reporter On were furious, accusing him of abandoning the news. HWA Shin claimed he merely needed to use the restroom. At the restaurant, Na Rai awaited her blind date, only to be surprised by the appearance of Youngwon. He informed her that her date had left, persuaded by him, and once again confessed his affection. Overwhelmed, Na Rai quickly excused herself. Back home, she saw HWA Shin talking to her from his balcony across the way. Torn between HWA Shin and Youngwon, she lamented how different things might be if HWA Shin had reciprocated her feelings 4 years earlier. Meanwhile, reporter On's attempt to help Ya-young and Sung-suk with the light bulb proved disastrous, eventually requiring them to call Mr. Kim Rak for repairs. HWA Shin experienced chest pains and went to the hospital. The doctor diagnosed him with a pleural effusion, a result of ignoring medical advice by drinking, eating meat, and fighting, and insisted on immediate hospitalization. The doctor informed Na Rai about HWA Shin's condition. Ya-young and Sung-suk visited Na Rai's apartment to borrow her bathroom, finding her making kimchi. The three women drank and talked, with Na Rai confessing she'd ended things with both men, unable to deceive either of them. Ya-young suggested dating both men simultaneously to get to know them better before making a final decision, but Sung-suk disagreed, believing she should only date one person at a time. The next morning, Na Rai saw HWA Shin packing his bags. He claimed he was going on a trip. Aware of his condition, Na Rai offered to accompany him, but he refused. HWA Shin went to the hospital area, turned back, and saw Na Rai in hospital attire. He was distraught, not wanting her to see him as a patient, but she insisted on staying with him. Meanwhile, Youngwon visited Mr. Kim Rak's kitchen for a meal, inquiring about available rooms. Ko Youngwon called Pyo Na Rai and asked her to meet. Pyo Na Rai replied that she was busy. Ko Youngwon didn't know that Pyo Na Rai had gone to Lee HWA Shin's house to help him with his chest binder. He followed Pyo Na Rai to the hospital and saw Lee HWA Shin lying in a hospital bed. He was saddened to learn that HWA Shin was receiving treatment for breast cancer. HWA Shin, after all, was his best friend. That evening, to take care of Lee HWA Shin, Ko Youngwon also stayed at the hospital. Pyo Na Rai let the two of them sleep in the hospital bed while she slept on the floor between them. She recalled the morning news broadcast. Living together as a show house was becoming popular, where three people would live together for a month to discover each other's flaws and then part ways with no regrets. Pyo Na Rai then got up and kissed both Lee HWA Shin and Go Youngwon, warning them that the condition for the three of them living together was no physical contact with her. If they broke that agreement, the offender would have to move out. HWA Shin and Youngwon agreed, and the competition between them began. The next day, Lee HWA Shin woke up to find Pyo Na Rai sleeping next to his bed, on Youngwon's side. No one was pretending. Lee HWA Shin reached out to touch Pyo Na Rai's hair, as if to trim it, but Ko Youngwon appeared suddenly and warned HWA Shin against any physical contact. Ko Youngwon announced that the three of them could live together at his house. He and Pyo Na Rai went grocery shopping, and then Ko Youngwon took Pyo Na Rai to his company, gave his mother his credit card, and firmly declared his intention to live with and eventually marry Pyo Na Rai. This caught his mother off guard. After leaving, Ko Youngwon gave his credit card to Pyo Na Rai, who, without hesitation, swiped it and then threw it into a donation box on the street. At work, Anchor Park, Pyo Na-rai's colleague, constantly belittled her, criticizing her for things like wearing sweatpants while reporting and mocking her contract worker status. This scene was witnessed by Lee Hwa Shin, who had come to deliver documents to the director. Both Lee Hwa Shin and Go Young-won received wedding invitations from their mutual ex-girlfriend, Hong Si-jin, at the same time, leaving both of them confused. Pyo Na-rai made kimchi and pancakes for everyone and then went to Ko Young-won's house. Ko Young-won explained that he and Pyo Na-rai would live in the 2 rooms on the 2nd floor, while Lee Hwa Shin would stay in the room on the 1st floor. Lee Hwa Shin was unhappy with this arrangement, leading to an argument. They recalled a similar situation in high school when both Ko Young-won and Lee Hwa Shin were vying for Hong Si-jin's affection. They had presented her with a pair of glasses and a baseball cap, and she chose Young-won's cap. Only later did they realize Hong Si-jin had been two-timing them for a year. Now, they repeated the same tactic, placing a baseball cap and glasses in front of Pyo Na-rai. She chose the baseball cap, and Ko Young-won was chosen to live with her on the 2nd floor. Ko Young-won asked Lee Hwa Shin if he had received the invitation from Hong Si-jin. Lee Hwa Shin confirmed he had and told Ko Young-won that he would take Pyo Na-rai to the wedding and ask Hong Si-jin who she truly preferred. He expressed confidence that she would choose him. Bebal Gang went to Kim Rak's restaurant for breakfast. Kim Rak gave Bebal Gang a will left by Bebal Gang's father. He said he could now give this letter to Bebal Gang so he could choose who would raise him, even though he felt both were qualified mothers. Kai Sung-suk went to Bebal Gang's room and invited him to a movie. Bebal Gang readily agreed, making Kai Sung-suk very happy. And Park once again gave Pyo Na-rai a hard time. A few minutes before the news started, she asked Pyo Na-rai to get her coffee, also making things difficult for reporter Park. Lee Hwa Shin, who was present at the studio, gave his coffee to reporter Park. But he was very unhappy with how reporter Park was treating Pyo Na-rai. Not to mention, he knew reporter Park often made moves on junior colleagues. While dining alone, Kai Sung-suk arrived at the cinema and saw that the person in the seat wasn't Bebal Gang, but Kim Rak. She was upset but hugged him. That evening, Lee Hwa Shin went to Pyo Na-rai's room, sat on her bed, hugged her, and told her to be careful with reporter Park, implying he was also a creep and wanted to sleep with her. But Pyo Na-rai kicked him out. A drunken Jin Rak went to Go Young-won's house and told him about Pyo Na-rai's love for Lee Hwa Shin. The next day, Lee Hwa Shin took Pyo Na-rai to Hong Soo-yi's wedding under the guise of going out to eat. Lee Hwa Shin asked Hong Soo-yi who she liked more in front of Pyo Na-rai. Joo-hee went overboard and deliberately said she liked Go Young-won more, listing many of Lee Hwa Shin's flaws, making him despondent. Go Young-won made a lavish breakfast, looking at his friend and mocking Lee Hwa Shin for attending his ex-girlfriend's wedding. Jin Rak asked Bebal Gang why he wanted to see a movie with Kai Sung-suk. Bebal Gang said he would listen to his father and live with Bang Ja-young, but he was afraid his mother would be lonely, so he wanted Uncle Jin Rak to go with her. Kim Rak was happy to see Bebal Gang like this. Pyo Na-rai called Lee Hwa Shin and asked him not to wait for her. Their morning broadcast team was having dinner when Lee Hwa Shin noticed Choi Dong-gi wasn't at the party. He assumed reporter Park had set up a separate gathering with Pyo Na-rai and was trying to make a move, so he immediately rushed over. Upon arriving at the karaoke bar, he punched reporter Park in the restroom. He then entered a private room, intending to take Pyo Na-rai away, but discovered there were actually many people partying inside. Lee Hwa Shin lay down next to a drunk Pyo Na-rai. She asked to see his chest to confirm if his illness was gone. She also confessed that if he died, she wouldn't be able to live. Touched, he leaned in to kiss her, but just as he was about to, Pyo Na-rai dodged, feeling that no matter what, she had to stick to her decision to wait 1 month and choose between him and Go Young-won. Lee Hwa Shin was furious and decided to give up. He packed his suitcase and prepared to leave. Pyo Na-rai chased after him and apologized. At this moment, Go Young-won rushed back and, seeing Lee Hwa Shin with his luggage, assumed he was leaving and remarked that it was good riddance. Lee Hwa Shin entered his room, pulling his suitcase. Later, Pyo Na-rai quietly went to Lee Hwa Shin's bedside and told him she just had a racing heart. Bang Ja-young went to the broadcasting station and asked Kai Sung-suk if she had seen a movie with Go Young-won. Kai Sung-suk said yes, although it was actually Kim Rak who went with her. Bang Ja-young, thinking Go Young-won was letting go of his prejudice against Kai Sung-suk, immediately squatted down in the studio and cried. After spending time together, Pyo Na-rai discovered many of Go Young-won's good qualities: hardworking, fun, and considerate, unlike Lee Hwa-shin. However, despite Go Young-won's advantages, Pyo Na-rai's heart seemed to lean more towards Lee Hwa-shin. When Go Young-won's mother saw her son's determination to be with Pyo Na-rai, she asked him to find out Pyo Na-rai's birth date. Inspired, Pyo Na-rai went to Lee Hwa-shin to ask for his birth date and horoscope. At this moment, Lee Hwa-shin is wearing glasses and reading the newspaper when Pyo Na-rai sees him. She compliments him on how handsome he looks and asks him to only wear his glasses in front of her from now on. Bang Ja-young is drinking soju at a stall near the broadcasting station. Director Woo and reporter Yan arrive and ask them a hypothetical question. If all the women in the world died except for her and Bang Ja-young, who would they choose? Both men choose Kai Sung-suk, leaving Bang Ja-young feeling dejected and drunk. Late at night, a very intoxicated Jin Kang shows up at Go Young-won's house and wakes up Lee Hwa-shin, who is sleeping on the first floor. Young-won takes the drunken Jin Kang home. Lee Hwa-shin watches Pyo Na-rai hiding and peeking from behind a wall, smugly assuming this scene proves Go Young-won's relationship troubles are unresolved. When Young-won returns home, Pyo Na-rai confronts him in the living room. He expects her to be disappointed in him after tonight's events, but surprisingly, she angrily berates him for getting Jin Kang water and carrying her bag. It's clear Jin Kang went to see Go Young-won, but he's oblivious to the real reason Pyo Na-rai is upset. She cares more about him than she lets on. Young-won apologizes to Pyo Na-rai when he gets home, but to his surprise, she's calm, saying she feels less guilty now. Perhaps her lack of anger stems from her growing indifference. The next morning, B-Bal Gang calls Pyo Kai-yeol, Kwak Kim-rak, Kai Sung-suk, Bang Ja-young, and others, showing them his father's suicide note. B-Bal Gang announces his intention to honor his father's wishes and live with Bang Ja-young, much to her delight and Kai Sung-suk's despair. Lee Hwa-shin's mother is pleased with On Go-hong. Having learned of On Go-hong's affection for her son from the previous incident, she goes to the broadcasting station, hoping to meet her. She runs into Go Young-won's mother at the elevator and then Pyo Na-rai, whom she invites to lunch. Arriving at Lee Hwa-shin's office, she finds only Hong Hae-won and warmly invites her to dinner instead. Lee Hwa-shin is shocked to find his mother and Hong Hae-won together when he returns to his office. Realizing his mother's misunderstanding, he excuses himself and calls Pyo Na-rai to invite her to dinner. Pyo Na-rai declines, claiming she has other plans. Lee Hwa-shin's mother happily takes Hong Hae-won to dinner. In the elevator, Lee Hwa-shin clarifies to his mother that Hong Hae-won is not the woman he likes, causing his mother considerable embarrassment. He takes her to a nearby restaurant, only to find Pyo Na-rai dining with Go Young-won and his mother. Pyo Na-rai, seeing Lee Hwa-shin, realizes he called her for dinner as a cover-up and immediately understands the situation. Lee Hwa-shin is equally frustrated. Although Bang Ja-young waits for an explanation when he gets home, he ignores her, packs his bags, and leaves. Lee Hwa-shin arrives at the station's employee lounge with his luggage when he receives a call from his director. He's summoned to the director's office and finds Hong Hae-won there as well. The always proud Hong Hae-won confronts him, asking why he treated her that way in front of his mother, portraying herself as a fool enduring unrequited love. Lee Hwa-shin calmly asks if she told his mother about their relationship, but Hong Hae-won denies it. Meanwhile, Pyo Na-rai accuses Lee Hwa-shin of being untrustworthy, kissing another colleague just an hour after breaking up with her. She demands he remove his glasses, reminding him of his promise to only wear them around her. Lee Hwa-shin listens to her complaints and finally realizes she likes him. He takes her hand, leads her to the rooftop, and explains that he and Hong Hae-won are just colleagues. However, Pyo Na-rai remains fixated on the kiss between Lee Hwa-shin and Hong Hae-won, talking as if he's not even there. Lee Hwa-shin suddenly asked Pyo Na-rai if she was jealous. While she denied it, her expression and behavior betrayed her. Lee Hwa-shin confirmed her jealousy, and Pyo Na-rai, delighted, immediately started dancing joyfully on the rooftop. The usually arrogant Lee Hwa-shin, however, became haughty and left after seeing a message from Director Oh. Director Oh informed Lee Hwa-shin and Hong Hae-won that they'd be anchoring the live broadcast of the Seoul mayoral election and should strive to make it the top-rated program, no matter the cost. After speaking with the director, Lee Hwa-shin started to dial Pyo Na-rai's number. But before she answered, he was called up to the rooftop by the director, who was carrying a birthday cake. It turned out to be Kai Sung-suk's birthday. All 5 people present made a wish that Pyo Na-rai wouldn't return to Ko Young-won's house. Meanwhile, Pyo Na-rai ran into Hong Hae-won in the elevator. Hong Hae-won deliberately told her that she and Lee Hwa-shin were on good terms and that their kiss wasn't a first. Pyo Na-rai returned to Young-won's house, packed her belongings, and left by car. She then went to confront Young-won, confessing her feelings for Lee Hwa-shin and admitting her jealousy over him and Hong Hae-won. She explained that being jealous meant she liked him. As Pyo Na-rai drove away, Young-won chased after her, revealing that all of Hwa-shin's previous relationships had lasted less than 3 months. Pyo Na-rai repeatedly apologized and left in tears. Young-won returned to his apartment and sent a message to Lee Hwa-shin, declaring war. He told Hwa-shin that Na-rai had moved out, but he would pursue her relentlessly. At the broadcasting station, Pyo Na-rai constantly sought opportunities to talk to Lee Hwa-shin, but he treated her with indifference, leaving her confused and somewhat afraid. Privately, Lee Hwa-shin went to Young-won's house and sincerely apologized. Young-won, however, continued to visit Pyo Na-rai at her apartment building. She frequently messaged Lee Hwa-shin, but he didn't reply, feeling guilty towards his good friend and hesitant to pursue a relationship with Na-rai so soon after her breakup with Young-won. As Pyo Na-rai stood on her balcony, about to flick a pebble at Lee Hwa-shin's window, his mother suddenly appeared, asking when she and Young-won would marry. A mortified Na-rai tried to explain that things weren't as they seemed. Hong Hae-won's father, the Blue House's communications director, had close ties to the mayoral election. As a result, the station decided she shouldn't participate in the live broadcast. Lee Hwa-shin was upset, as he and Hae-won had already prepared. The director, however, was firm in his decision and asked Hwa-shin to choose between Pyo Na-rai and reporter Park as his new co-anchor. Pyo Na-rai and Lee Hwa-shin began working together on the news. Hwa-shin was surprised by Na-rai's professionalism and strength. A frustrated Hong Hae-won invited Hwa-shin for soju at a restaurant near the station. Pyo Na-rai secretly sat behind them, overhearing Hwa-shin comforting Hae-won. Disappointed, she left. Later, Young-won asked Lee Hwa-shin how he'd treated Na-rai since their kiss. Hwa-shin claimed he hadn't treated her any differently. Pyo Na-rai, lacking the courage to hear his full answer, got up and left. A drunken Pyo Na-rai went to the broadcasting room where Lee Hwa-shin was resting. She mustered the courage to confess her desire to date him. Lee Hwa-shin explained that his recent coldness was due to his guilt towards Young-won. He felt that pursuing her so soon after the breakup would only intensify his guilt. She was instantly relieved by his explanation, understanding that Lee Hwa-shin no longer had feelings for her. Sitting on the bed, she cried her heart out. Lee Hwa-shin approached and asked her if she wanted to go out with him. Worried that Pyo Na-rai would be uncomfortable drinking on an empty stomach, Lee Hwa-shin cooked for her. He was considerate, asking for her input at every step, even down to whether or not to share the noodles and how much seasoning to add. Pyo Na-rai teased him for not knowing how to cook ramen. While eating, Lee Hwa-shin declared that he would eat instant noodles with her over 1,000 times in the future, so he needed to know her preferences. Touched, Pyo Na-rai jokingly asked if he was proposing, calculating that eating ramen once a day would take 10 years to reach 1,000 times. He laughed, saying that wasn't the case. Back in the newsroom, neither of them wanted to leave. Lee Hwa-shin suggested they stay up all night together, even resorting to flattery, but Pyo Na-rai eventually sent him home. Late at night, she continued preparing in the studio. She practiced repeatedly, and even with her eyes closed, she could pinpoint the locations of different areas on the screen. Bang Ja-young observed this and smiled warmly. In the director's office, the news director and reporter Yan watched the news and learned that Congressman Hong's father had resigned from the Blue House due to the president's decision. The director felt guilty towards Hong Hae-won, but Lee Hwa-shin pointed out that Pyo Na-rai was also present, causing the director and reporter Yan to exchange glances. Everyone was in high spirits amidst the flurry of activity. In the elevator, they encountered the usually serious Kai Sung-suk, whom Lee Hwa Shin complimented sweetly. In the studio, he carefully guided Pyo Na-rai, teaching her how to handle various emergency situations. Pyo Na-rai's professionalism, including her ability to identify electoral districts on the map, even with her eyes closed, impressed the usually stern Lee Hwa Shin. When Pyo Na-rai gave an impromptu explanation that Lee Hwa Shin deemed insufficiently engaging, Hong Hai-won stepped in with a more polished version, then offered both Lee Hwa Shin and Pyo Na-rai coffee, encouraging Pyo Na-rai's hard work. Ko Young-won visited Pyo Na-rai's home to give her the clothes she wore during her announcer days. Pyo Na-rai was reluctant to accept, not wanting to be indebted to him, but he reassured her, persuading her not to worry. Unable to refuse, she accepted the clothes. Before the live mayoral election broadcast, Bang Ja-young visited Pyo Na-rai in the dressing room, offering reassurance and advice. Seeing Pyo Na-rai's nervousness, Lee Hwa Shin tried to comfort her with humor and affectionate gestures, assuring her of his support and confessing his love. However, during the broadcast, the CG team responsible for the on-screen graphics made repeated mistakes, including incorrect subtitles and an inaccurate district map. Pyo Na-rai, with her limited live broadcast experience, struggled to react effectively to these errors. During the break, her spirits were low. When she went to the restroom to practice, a worried Lee Hwa Shin followed, urging her to forget the first segment's mistakes and start fresh. However, Pyo Na-rai was distraught. Concerned that her initial mistakes would affect her performance and lead to further errors, Lee Hwa Shin asked if she could continue with the second segment. When a heartbroken Pyo Na-rai couldn't respond, he suggested she go home to rest, asking her to wait for him there. Hong Hai-won replaced her. Backstage, a furious Lee Hwa Shin demanded that the crew take responsibility for their mistakes instead of always letting the anchor take the fall. When Bang Ja-young saw Hong Hai-won arrive at the studio, she felt guilty towards Pyo Na-rai. She knew how much effort Pyo Na-rai had put in and searched for her everywhere in the studio, but couldn't find her. At that moment, Pyo Na-rai was sitting on the lawn in front of the company building, watching the live broadcast on the company's LED screen, witnessing the tacit collaboration between Hong Hai-won and Lee Hwa Shin. She then left in tears. Ko Young-won, who saw the incident on TV, immediately rushed to the broadcasting station. Seeing Pyo Na-rai leave dejectedly, he chose to quietly follow her. After the program ended, Kai Sung-suk mocked Lee Hwa Shin for remaining cold and indifferent as always, focusing only on work without considering the feelings of those close to him. Worried, Lee Hwa Shin drove home and, upon discovering Pyo Na-rai wasn't there, hurried downstairs to look for her. He found her inside her apartment on the lower floor. Pyo Na-rai realized Ko Young-won had followed her. Lee Hwa Shin, who had also gone out looking for her, saw Pyo Na-rai return home without a word. Ko Young-won stopped Lee Hwa Shin and asked if he had replaced Pyo Na-rai. Lee Hwa Shin said he didn't understand the situation at the time and how important the responsibility of a 1-hour live broadcast was. He believed that only by letting Pyo Na-rai experience the weight of that responsibility could she overcome her fear, which would benefit her future. Ko Young-won believed that Lee Hwa Shin was treating Pyo Na-rai the same way he had treated his brother before, with equal ruthlessness. Saddened, Lee Hwa Shin told Ko Young-won that just like he loved his brother and wanted him to follow the right path, he wanted Pyo Na-rai to grow. He didn't expect others to understand, but he thought at least Ko Young-won, his best friend, would. Lee Hwa Shin was anxious, but Pyo Na-rai didn't lose her composure or yell at him. This made Lee Hwa Shin very uneasy. He pulled Pyo Na-rai to the stairs and asked her to scold him, but Pyo Na-rai was reluctant, feeling she had shortcomings in her work and understanding Lee Hwa Shin's hard work. Lee Hwa Shin kept pointing out Pyo Na-rai's flaws. As an anchor, Pyo Na-rai couldn't help but get angry, saying she didn't want to argue, but that Hwa Shin should question his own judgment. After saying this, Pyo Na-rai turned her back on Lee Hwa Shin. Lee Hwa Shin then confessed what he had always wanted to say. He proposed to Pyo Na-rai, telling her he wanted to be with her and cook instant noodles for her 1,000 more times. Pyo Na-rai was stunned and didn't reply. Anxious, Lee Hwa Shin asked if she had kimchi. Pyo Na-rai asked if she could choose between the proposal and the kimchi. Lee Hwa Shin mumbled affirmatively, and Pyo Na-rai retrieved it from the cupboard next to the pickled radish water. Afterwards, Lee Hwa Shin returned home, stood on his balcony, and watched Pyo Na-rai brush her teeth on the opposite balcony. She hesitantly went inside. That night, both tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. Pyo Na-rai thought Lee Hwa Shin's sudden proposal was because he was afraid she'd be angry, taking it as a way to dismiss her grievances. The next day, Lee Hwa Shin was in the elevator, his mind still full of Pyo Na-rai's reaction from the previous day. Suddenly, the elevator doors opened, and Pyo Na-rai, wearing a wedding dress, appeared before him. A shocked Lee Hwa Shin received the explanation that all the anchors had to shoot promotional posters. Slightly disappointed, Lee Hwa Shin claimed he didn't even want to know what she was doing. Pyo Na-rai retorted, asking if he and Hong Hai-won only kissed once, leaving Lee Hwa Shin at a loss for words. As they were bickering, the elevator doors opened to reveal Bang Ja-young leading a group of anchors, all in wedding dresses. Later, Lee Hwa Shin was sitting in front of the studio when Kai Sung-suk arrived, grabbed his belongings, and accused him of replacing Pyo Na-rai. During a live broadcast outside the station, Pyo Na-rai saw Hwa Shin about to leave and pulled him back, insisting he accompany her to the hospital. Pyo Na-rai was wearing a hospital gown and Lee Hwa Shin was by her side. This was pre-arranged with the doctor to prevent Lee Hwa Shin from being targeted by jealous female patients. Pyo Na-rai was pretending to be a patient, and Lee Hwa Shin her concerned family member. The doctor congratulated Lee Hwa Shin on completing his final chemotherapy treatment. Pyo Na-rai waited outside. Seeing Lee Hwa Shin emerge from chemotherapy with a relaxed expression, she was relieved. Lee Hwa Shin, playfully wiping away Pyo Na-rai's tears to cheer her up, stood up and danced. B-Bal Gang had scammed Lee Hwa Shin out of 10 million won. Knowing this was wrong, she mustered the courage to confess to Hwa Shin's mothers and his uncle, returning the money. Her uncle, furious, scolded B-Bal Gang severely and made her stand with a sign admitting her wrongdoing, crying and apologizing. Kai Sung-suk called the police station to inquire if any reporters had recently been victims of phone scams. After receiving a negative response, Kim Rak suggested telling Lee Hwa Shin the truth, but Kai Sung-suk and Bang Ja-young immediately disagreed, fearing Lee Hwa Shin would be too lenient with B-Bal Gang, considering her like a sister. Ultimately, the three decided to secretly put the money in Lee Hwa Shin's room. Pyo Na-rai went downstairs and met Young-won, who was waiting for her. Pyo Na-rai made it clear she wanted Young-won to give up, as she would accept if Lee Hwa Shin proposed again. She criticized Hwa Shin for being selfish and lazy. Lee Hwa Shin, having taken time off work, arrived at that moment. He told Young-won that people change, and he now desired a wife and family. Pyo Na-rai volunteered to report on air pollution. After inhaling excessive dust and smoke, she felt unwell and sluggish, returning home early. In front of a convenience store, she encountered Lee Hwa Shin and they sat on a bench. As they bickered, it began to snow. Lee Hwa Shin excitedly declared it the first snowfall. Pyo Na-rai hinted that if he were serious, he should do something to prove it. Lee Hwa Shin feigned ignorance, pulling out pork belly and inviting her home to grill and eat. Seeing Pyo Na-rai's unimpressed expression, Lee Hwa Shin stepped aside and made 2 small snowmen, then returned and proposed to Na-rai. He expressed his desire for them to be as happy as the snowmen, envisioning a future with at least 2 children. Pyo Na-rai burst into laughter, presenting him with 2 smaller snowmen and playfully asking if their faces were filled with smiles. Kai Sung-suk observed the scene from upstairs. Jin-el and Bang Ja-young stealthily entered Hwa Shin's apartment and hid the money in his closet. As they were leaving, Kai Sung-suk called to warn them that Lee Hwa Shin was returning. They hid in the closet and stayed there all night. Early the next morning, they quickly left as Lee Hwa Shin went to work. As they descended the stairs, Kim Rak unexpectedly kissed Bang Ja-young, surprising her as he had initially been against such displays of affection. Flustered, she questioned him, and he simply told her, "Let's date." Lee Hwa Shin went to the hospital to receive his final health checkup results. He walked out of the doctor's office despondently, appearing deeply distressed. He was supposed to meet his mother that day, wanting Pyo Na-rai to meet her, and she was already waiting in a hotel room. Lee Hwa Shin waited for his mother outside a hotel, suppressing his sadness and telling himself he didn't want her there. He was about to meet his girlfriend, and since he hadn't met her parents yet, he worried his mother's presence would make him seem like he valued his girlfriend more than his own mother. His mother scolded him, saying it was natural for a son to favor his girlfriend. However, a stubborn Lee Hwa Shin insisted the timing wasn't right and persuaded her to go home. He then went inside, but hesitated before entering the room. He quietly arranged Na Rai's shoes at the doorway and slipped back out. Only after leaving did he call Na Rai, feigning forgetfulness and claiming he had a live broadcast to attend to. A kind Na Rai simply said it was okay. Later, Lee Hwa Shin met Choi Dong-gi for soju at a roadside stall. Drunk, he went to Na Rai's apartment and lay on her bed, feigning indifference while mentioning a fortune teller's prediction about him possibly being unable to have children. He learned from Na Rai's cousin that she deeply desired children, and he worried about his ability to make her happy. The next morning, during the live news broadcast, Na Ju-hee suffered from appendicitis. This caused panic, especially for Pyo Na Rai, who had to present the weather forecast. The forecast, predicting strong winds, contrasted sharply with the current sunny weather. This discrepancy left viewers confused, especially when heavy rain followed later. A worried Choi Dong-gi urged Na Rai to rush to the main anchor desk. After her segment, Na Rai raced across the studio. Anchor Park deliberately said her farewell to viewers early, but Na Rai was still a step away from her position when the broadcast ended, leaving Choi Dong-gi alone on screen. The director was furious about this on-air mishap. He blamed Lee Hwa Shin and demanded an apology, threatening to reveal Na Rai's breast cancer diagnosis to the entire station if he refused. Na Rai made it clear to Anchor Park that this was unacceptable. The three of them became entangled in the fallout, with Anchor Park inadvertently spreading the news of Na Rai's illness throughout the station. Lee Hwa Shin went for fertility testing. The results confirmed his fears. Due to the radiation from his cancer treatments, it would be difficult for him to conceive. Dr. Kang offered comfort and support. In the elevator, Lee Hwa Shin overheard the station director lamenting Na Rai's situation, acknowledging her struggles with cancer and her precarious employment status, all while enduring it for Hwa Shin's sake. He rushed to the studio, pulled Na Rai aside, and demanded to know why she hadn't told him. Na Rai downplayed the situation, urging him not to do anything. However, Lee Hwa Shin, unwilling to let her shoulder the burden alone, went to the hospital to film a report on breast cancer, preparing to reveal his own diagnosis. Before the 7 o'clock news, he called his mother and asked her to make him fish soup, though he didn't want her to witness what was about to happen. At the station, Na Rai watched as Lee Hwa Shin reported on breast cancer, sensing what was coming. She desperately ran to the studio, standing below him and shaking her head, pleading with him silently. But after finishing his report, Lee Hwa Shin looked directly into the camera and bravely announced his own battle with breast cancer. Thanking his girlfriend for her support, Na Rai burst into tears. After the broadcast, Lee Hwa Shin went to her, embraced her, and cried, scolding her gently for not listening to him and reminding her that a reporter's job is to tell the truth. He wiped away Pyo Na Rai's tears, urging her to go home first. Then, alone, he walked out of the broadcasting station. Despite the stares and whispers, Lee Hwa Shin strode with an odd, determined gait. He drove away as his mother and Ko Young-won watched the news. His mother called, urging him to hold on to the woman who had gone through his cancer diagnosis and treatment with him, the one who had never let go. Ko Young-won, seeing Lee Hwa Shin's car at an intersection, followed him instead of going home. After that night, no one could reach Lee Hwa Shin. No one knew where he was. The director found Lee Hwa Shin's resignation letter on his desk. A worried Pyo Na Rai went to the doctor, trying to understand Hwa Shin's thoughts, but the doctor withheld the truth. She also confided in Ko Young-won, knowing he was Hwa Shin's close friend. A week later, during Pyo Na Rai and Park's morning news broadcast, Lee Hwa Shin suddenly appeared on set. Barely containing their excitement, the director and reporter Young and pulled him into the office. The director urged him to anchor the news as soon as possible, but Lee Hwa Shin was reluctant. He said he didn't want to be on TV. In the elevator, he encountered Kai Sung-suk, who told him viewers had been constantly calling, asking about his whereabouts during his absence. They cared about him, not out of pity, but because they trusted him as a reporter. Lee Hwa Shin, deeply touched, went to the studio, prepared to say goodbye to Pyo Na Rai. But the words that came out were, "I don't want to break up." Pyo Na Rai suggested they have dinner and soju together. Gathering her courage, she brought up the topic of breaking up. She asked if his infertility was the reason, stating that she didn't care about it, that she loved him more than the idea of having children. Stunned, Lee Hwa Shin asked if she had known about his condition all along. Pyo Na-rai explained that she'd been waiting for him to tell her, so she pretended not to know. She insisted she didn't care, but Hwa Shin argued that it wasn't something to be dismissed. He wasn't sure he could make her happy for the rest of her life, and he walked away. Overwhelmed with emotion, Pyo Na-rai went straight to Lee Hwa Shin's apartment, banging on the door and pulling him out by his collar. She told him his diagnosis wasn't 100% infertility, just difficulty conceiving, and they could try. But Lee Hwa Shin remained convinced he couldn't make her happy and kept repeating that they should break up. Frustrated, Pyo Na-rai lay down on his balcony. A worried Lee Hwa Shin followed, urging her to go home and sleep. She refused, pretending to be freezing while claiming he was fine. During their argument, Pyo Ka-yeol stepped onto his own balcony, surprised to see his sister there. Pyo Na-rai quickly sat up at the sound of her brother's voice. Reporter Young and had to take a leave of absence because of her mother's serious illness. The only person available to anchor the 9 o'clock news was Lee Hwa Shin. His co-anchor, who always treated him like a child, refused to work with him. So, the station director and chief decided that Pyo Na-rai and Lee Hwa Shin would co-anchor the 9 o'clock news. Lee Hwa Shin was resistant when he learned of this arrangement. He thought the audience already knew the story of Pyo Na-rai, who never gave up on him, and how he had broken up with her. He reasoned that if they, both news anchors, were together, Pyo Na-rai would never find another boyfriend. However, since Pyo Na-rai and Lee Hwa Shin started anchoring the 9 o'clock news together, Lee Hwa Shin began making sharp and pertinent comments on some hot topics at the end of the broadcast. Some large keyballs conglomerates often evaded taxes and broke the law. This made the station director very helpless because these large keyballs were the biggest advertising investors in television stations. Lee Hwa Shin and announcer Na-rai were sitting together in a convenience store. Pyo Na-rai returned and saw this scene. She invited Lee Hwa Shin to cook ramen at her house, implying they clearly didn't understand each other well enough. When Lee Hwa Shin suddenly showed up at Pyo Na-rai's house, she kept nagging him, taking advantage of the fact that he was taking a break from drinking to plead with him not to break up with her. Lee Hwa Shin, having had a few drinks, lost patience with her nagging and stood up to kiss her. Pyo Ka-yeol had just returned from studying at the library. He saw Lee Hwa Shin and Pyo Na-rai kissing. Shocked, he pushed Lee Hwa Shin away, leaving him on his sister's bed. Pyo Ka-yeol told his sister that he had come back for his keys and was at the door changing his shoes when he saw Lee Hwa Shin's shoes. But because of his sister, he didn't say anything. After Ka-yeol left, Pyo Na-rai asked Lee Hwa Shin, who was sitting on the bed, why he kissed her after they broke up. Lee Hwa Shin said she wouldn't want to know and then asked if he could sleep with her. Lee Hwa Shin then told Pyo Na-rai they shouldn't do this and that he couldn't marry her, but Pyo Na-rai took off her sweater, hugged Lee Hwa Shin, and they kissed. Because of his frequent outspokenness during news broadcasts, which touched on the interests of large corporations, they stopped advertising on SBC television. This angered the president, who called the director and suspended Lee Hwa Shin from his position as a news anchor, transferring him to work at a kindergarten facility at the television station to take care of the employees' children. The director was very embarrassed and didn't know how to tell Hwa Shin this news. Early the next morning, Lee Hwa Shin left Pyo Na-rai's house. As he was leaving, he saw Pyo Ka-yeol squatting by the door. Pyo Ka-yeol always disliked Lee Hwa Shin because, in his eyes, his sister was the best sister in the world. However, Lee Hwa Shin had ignored his sister for the 3 years she had a one-sided love for him. When Ka-yeol saw Lee Hwa Shin coming out of his sister's room, he punched him in the face. But Lee Hwa Shin told Ka-yeol that he would love his sister very much and treat her well, like a high school senior might, causing Ka-yeol to put aside his resentment. Lee Hwa Shin wanted to marry Pyo Na-rai, so he secretly booked a church and planned to arrange the wedding on Christmas Eve. The director and Kai Sung-suk told Lee Hwa Shin about the president's arrangement. Lee Hwa Shin was furious when he found out and immediately wrote a letter of resignation. However, the director tore up the resignation letter and said that he would not allow Lee Hwa Shin to resign. In fact, Lee Hwa Shin's professionalism and adherence to journalistic ethics were admired by all his colleagues. Bang Ya-young talked to Pyo Na-rai. The 9 o'clock news program was once again hosted by Kai Sung-suk and reporter Yan, and the morning news, which Pyo Na-rai was in charge of, was now hosted by reporter Park. Since Pyo Na-rai was about to become a full-time employee, Bang Ja-young asked her to think carefully about the programs she was interested in and to wait patiently for a while before a suitable program could be arranged for her. Bang Ja-young inadvertently mentioned that Lee Hwa Shin was about to be assigned to work at a kindergarten. Pyo Na-rai was shocked by this news and secretly slipped away to the bathroom. When she went outside, she saw Lee Hwa Shin convincing Pyo Na-rai to stop crying and took her out to eat. It wasn't until they arrived at the hotel that Pyo Na-rai realized Lee Hwa Shin had been having her sample dishes for their wedding reception. That's when she learned he had scheduled their wedding for the end of the year. Na-rai exclaimed that it was too late and he should have told his mother first. But Hwa Shin insisted they had seriously discussed the wedding and were now worried about who would officiate. Hwa Shin was afraid his mother would scold him if she saw Na-rai, because she still assumed Na-rai was Ko Young-won's girlfriend. Hwa Shin planned to have his mother attend the wedding directly. His mother came to his house to help him clean the kitchen. Hwa Shin asked to borrow 10 million won from her since he was getting married. While cleaning the cupboard, his mother found an envelope with 10 million won and a note that read, "It seems you weren't wrong about being scammed over the phone." He also noticed an earring in the cupboard. His mother told him it belonged to Bang Ja-young. Hwa Shin understood the whole situation and went to B-ball Gang's house with the money. B-ball Gang knelt before her uncle and confessed her mistake. Hwa Shin asked her to stand up and hugged her, apologizing for any wrongdoing on his part. Bang Ja-young and Kai Sung-suk, who were standing nearby, were surprised by his attitude. In reality, Hwa Shin, like Ko Young-won, was a lonely person because it was hard to find someone who understood them. Hwa Shin went to Pyo Na-rai's house, gave her the 10 million won, and told her to prepare for the wedding. He expressed his desire to live with her as soon as possible and asked her not to resign from her job. He knew she didn't want to work at the kindergarten, so he didn't press the issue. Regarding Hwa Shin's resignation letter, the director's daily routine was to tear it up. He told Hwa Shin that he had secured him a position hosting a radio show about a health handbook, allowing him to say whatever he wanted. Hwa Shin laughed heartily about his misfortunes. At the entrance of the neighborhood convenience store, Hwa Shin, Pyo Na-rai, and her niece were sitting and eating bean cakes. Hwa Shin asked Na-rai what she was good at. In her opinion, she enjoyed watching clocks the most. Na-rai told him she had listened to his radio show and thought it was very good. She also complimented him on being able to do everything well. Hwa Shin was overjoyed and kissed her. Hwa Shin's mother came to see him. Passing by the convenience store, she saw this scene and became furious. She immediately scolded Hwa Shin, accusing him of stealing his best friend's girlfriend, even after Ko Young-won had broken up with Na-rai and now he wanted to marry her. His mother could only sit there and quietly scold him. After broadcasting the news, reporter Yan invited Kai Sung-suk to dinner. Kai Sung-suk began inquiring about reporter Yan's personal circumstances and confessed to having some romantic interest in him, much to his excitement. Meanwhile, Chef Kim Rak honestly recruited Bang Ja-young to meet his sister. However, his sister strongly disapproved of Bang Ja-young, believing her to be unworthy of her brother. She even met privately with Bang Ja-young and offered her a check, essentially asking her to leave Kim Rak. Bang Ja-young accepted the check and told Kim Rak about the situation, suggesting they use the money as a dating fund since they could date but not marry. She didn't want a marriage burdened by familial disapproval. Kim Rak smiled, understanding Bang Ja-young's thoughts. Pyo Na-rai told the director that she still preferred weather reporting most, so she returned to her forecasting position, happily juggling her dual roles as a weather reporter and a general reporter. At Pyo Na-rai and Lee Hwa Shin's wedding, Pyo Na-rai's sister, Pyo Ka-yeol, took her hand and led her towards Lee Hwa Shin. Pyo Ka-yeol solemnly placed her sister's hand in Lee Hwa Shin's. All the friends present were close to the couple. After they became husband and wife, the doctor took the stage to speak as a witness. He commented on how a person's character is revealed in how they face adversity, and witnessed how handsome a man Lee Hwa Shin was, and how Pyo Na-rai had a generous and trustworthy heart. Then, Choi Dong-gi, the nurse, and Lee Hwa Shin's broadcasting colleagues performed a celebratory piece for Pyo Na-rai, who smiled through tears of joy. Years later, after delivering the weather forecast with a noticeably pregnant belly, Pyo Na-rai complained to Lee Hwa Shin, who was holding a baby in the studio, accusing him of not caring for the child properly. He, in turn, complained that Pyo Na-rai only seemed to see children everywhere. Decades later, as a silver-haired Pyo Na-rai delivered the Christmas Eve weather forecast, she recalled her wedding night decades prior with a happy smile.